Listen, listen, listen. Welcome to Monday Nighttime Ramblings, where I will ramble on for approximately 3 hours. I might not do 3 hours tonight, as um, it's going to be a long week. Roman is downstairs pretty much by himself because I think this is the first time I'm doing a show without Olivia, so I might have to call it a little bit early. And there's really not too much toy news, but there is some stuff to get into. There's always some GI Joe news, it seems, and we have Toy Fair next week. So I have a feeling next week we are going to get hammered with a whole bunch of stuff, which I know I am excited for because it feels like it's been forever since I've got stuff in. Although this week it looks like it's going to be way different as well. I've got a bunch of stuff already sitting downstairs for me to start reviewing, and there's more stuff coming. And by the end of the month, we should have a bunch of GI Joes and Savage Crucibles and Operation Recall and all that other good stuff. So anyway, thank you guys all for tuning in. I love it, the fact that you guys give me a little bit of your time on Monday, trying to kick off that first day of the week if you work a Monday to Friday. So hope everyone had a wonderful weekend, a whole wonderful week. I saw most of you, I hope, on Thursday, for Thursday with a friend. But anyway, hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. It was too cold. I was gonna say it was too cold to go out and take pictures. I know I dealt with it the past couple weeks before that because we had fresh snow. We haven't got any snow, but was it cold. It was one of those where the wind chill was supposed to be somewhere around minus 20. And I figured I have enough pictures that I can do stuff that way rather than go outside and work on some stuff. And it's supposed to be in the 40s next week. I think it's supposed to be close to 40 tomorrow. So I have a feeling we might start to see some snow start to melt. I'd like to get outside with some O-ring stuff, as I have a lot of stuff. I got that Yeti Skeletron figure. I haven't done anything in the snow with that figure. So I want to get out and do some stuff with the O-ring, as I have a lot more stuff that I can do rather than just the 1/12 scale. So anyway, hope you guys all had a wonderful weekend. Like I said, Olivia was here once again. We went out. I love going out to I go out to lunch by myself, or her and I will go out to lunch. I asked my son; he never wants to go out. So if you ever wonder why you don't hear me talk much about him, he doesn't really want to do it. He's at that age; he doesn't want to do anything. He's 19, and he doesn't really want to go out and do stuff. And I kind of remember that age, but I was always out doing stuff too. So, but yeah, we went out to lunch. We watched some 90210. Of course, we watched 90210. I forget where we're at right now. We're already in season 3. I think we're like over halfway through season 3. Olivia really doesn't like Brenda. She really doesn't like Andrea. But I did ask her. I said, "So is it? Hey! You know you love it, all right? You know you love it." It's funny because I'm like, I go, be honest, is it still like this in high school? And she was like, yeah, it kind of is. So anyway, but yeah, some more 90210. And then yesterday was the Super Bowl, and while the Super Bowl was going on, I want to do some pictures, but let's quickly just kind of. I did a picture, and I'm really disappointed that I don't have Lifeline yet, because Lifeline is actually from Washington. But I did this picture. I don't know if you guys saw it, but it was all the guys from Massachusetts watching the Seattle Seahawks beat May, who just is no Tom Brady. So I just got this extreme setup in, and it has like this computer monitor, and it kind of fit just perfectly on there. I think it's pretty cool that they're waiting for my show to start, Circle of Jerks to start, but And before anyone says that Bazooka is not from Massachusetts, he is, he's wearing the New England Patriots jersey. So these were the figures that I had that's from Massachusetts. I mean, there might have been one other one. Um, and then obviously we have Flint kind of consoling Lady J. Maybe he's gonna try and use that to his advantage later on. And then I don't know. But anyway, I thought this was actually pretty good. I'm disappointed that Lifeline, which would have been great, Lifeline versus Doc, going up against the Super Bowl. So very disappointed that I won't have him till tomorrow. At least that's what Amazon says, that I should have it tomorrow. So it also says I should have Hit and Run, but it hasn't shipped yet, so I have a feeling that's not going to happen. And thank you very much. Again, it's fun. It's fun to do stuff like this. And it's gonna piss some people off. But oh well. I don't know. Just, I can't believe no one said, well, the Lions have never won. Yeah, no shit, the Lions have never won. They're the Detroit Lions, and I'm not a Lions fan. I just live in Detroit, and I watch football. So anyway, that's kind of how my weekend went. I was able to do some other pictures. I dropped those Wave 1 or 1982 classified versus the O-ring, both in the G.I. Joe and Cobra. That's something I'm going to try and do. I know I tried doing it a while back, but they added some more of those. They've added some more figures. So I think, hey, you know what? Let's grab some. I also forgot when I did it last time. I actually forgot to throw the RAM cycle in. So I'm going to do something like that and just throw those pictures in there because I have the O-rings. For the most part, kind of do a few waves and it's, oh boy. I was trying to hit the mute button. I apologize. Oh man. Sorry, everyone. I apologize. I was trying to get to the mute button, but as I was my hand was kind of going all over the place. And thank you guys. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna try and do some more pictures like that. Like I got the dreadnoughts. I don't like doing stuff. I don't like telling everyone because then people kind of get those ideas and they want to run and do them. And not that it matters. I mean, I'll go and do do what I need to do. But I guess you do kind of not tell everyone everything that you're doing. So anyway, there's 52 people watching right now. Please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. We are very, very, very close to 8,500 people. None bought and paid for, unlike a lot of other channels and a lot of other YouTubers that love to hit that subscribe button or buy those bots. But anyway, let's go and say hi to everyone. And like I said, if you haven't yet, please hit that like button if you haven't yet. So we got who's jumping in here. We got the Odorous. We got Troy Bleeford. We have Cal Shave, GI Bro, who has the best guns in the community. Sabir Del Norte. We have Michael G. Fleming. And let's see here, Stephen K, which I've already mentioned. Hi, it's me. We have the Krusty O Crow, listening while I play with my toys in front of the camera, all adult like. Beardy Beardison jumping in. Let's see here. We have Dan Olton, Bobby Wold saying, must be an extra long episode of 90210. Punk is running late. I'm always running late. I'm always trying to get stuff done, believe it or not. I got to take my nap. And I had to sleep down. I had to take a nap downstairs with Roman. He really does start to feel like, you can tell he's like, I can't go upstairs anymore. Am I doing something wrong? And I hate that, but I can't. You try and limit him from going up and down as many steps as possible. We got US Combat Dojo jumping in here, a member for 9 months, saying, hey, Punk, so you get a
fucking Phil Collins.
And if you haven't seen, Phil Collins is in really, really poor shape. So the chances of me ever getting him on Thursday with a friend are getting slimmer and slimmer. But I will bump anyone on Thursday or Monday or any other day if he decides to contact me and say, hey, let's do this. I'm all for it. We have Matthew Matson, one moderator, jumping in here with the All right. We have Action Figs, one of my other moderators who I will be rooming with at Joe Fest, which is less than 5 months away. It's just over 4 months away, like 4.5 months away. I'm excited. I'm excited. I mean, I'm going to Florida right after that too, so excited there too. But I'm telling everyone, like, right now, again, if you have the chance, if you have the money, go. You're not going to regret it. SCS Dog is here. We got Paul Morales. Tony's Figs is in the house. Let It Roll has joined us. We have Tim Brower. Hello out there. Ultra Match jumping in here. In regards to the poll, grown men don't play with dolls. We interact with action figures. I kind of like that. MTC, Tommy Roth, you're going to have to change that because eventually kids aren't going to know what that is in reference to, as MTV is now gone. Gun Bunny Customs is here. Cobb Webb has joined us. If you are into Motu, and you know I am like the Motu king here. Now, in all honesty, if you're not, if you're into Motu, you need to be following Cobb Webb. He's the punk with toys. Like, as I am to G.I. Joe Classified, he is to Motu. So you need to be following Cobweb. Or even if you're not, you should just go over there because he's actually a really, really good guy. We have Dustin Blair joining us. Let's see who else. We got Viper Scout, who I know he loves all the O-Ring classic reviews that I do. That's basically what he is collecting right now. He does some classified, but he's more of an O-Ring guy. And he recently just went and got a G.I. Joe flag. I know. I may or may have told a story once or twice. Maybe I'll tell one another day, but not today. Skunkworks Studios jumping in the chat too. And we are close to having about everyone that has already commented. Let's see. Is there anyone else? I'm not seeing any new faces. We have Checkpoint Alpha. We have Joe ARH, who will also be a guest soon. I've asked him to come on Thursday with a friend soon. So check out. He will be on eventually. I think next month is what we're looking at. I have everything written down, but then I forget. I hope he doesn't tell me it's next week because it's not. Nolan, which makes us Toy Tube official. Mr. Mad Gus has joined the chat. And then we have Sean Forrester, who does some amazing G.I. Joe Transformer customs. And I'm not saying G.I. Joe and Transformer customs, G.I. Joe mixed with Transformer. So check him out on Instagram if you're not following him. Honestly, some really, really good stuff. And Cobb, no, dude, seriously, you do some really good work. The Motu crowd is not easy to break into, but there's probably a lot of people who said the same thing about the G.I. Joe, being a G.I. Joe toy tuber, I guess is what you would say. You've done a great job. So yeah, if I can promote you, and again, you've been wonderful. We've chatted more than enough times, even when you were backstage and couldn't get on after we went live and was trying to help Tony to set up his monetization. Chaz the Guru, if you're not following this guy on Instagram, when he gets into his mood, when he gets in one of his moods, he does the best memes in the toy community. And we have a Stiv Chomp or Ted Knight. Woo! All right. And I'm going to play a quick little video because that sneeze has caused me to have to, do something.
Fired? Have you recently lost your job with a major toy manufacturer? Tariffs got you down? You may be entitled to sharing your story on a major media streaming outlet. We want you to dish the dirt. Call Circle of Jerks at 900-555-0979. We will exploit you for our personal gain. That number again is 900-555-0979. Circle of Jerks. Every client gets a cookie.
All right. Probably should have played one a little bit longer, but I made it. Matthew, I want to say that I know I've told Tony this before. I will have these huge sneezing fits, and each one will sound like that. They'll go on sometimes for 2 to 3 minutes. I'll sneeze anywhere from like 15 to 20 times. I've been on the phone with Tony. I was lucky enough to never have it happen during the pandemic when we were wearing masks, where we'd be in the mask. And I've been lucky enough to never have one while on air, which is really shocking because they'll just hit out of nowhere. I think a lot of times they come obviously from dust or whatever, but when the sunlight will also hit, I think we've all had those sneezing fits. I'll sometimes, I'll get nailed with it. So I'm surprised I've never had one, and I was really worried it was about to happen there. We have Boba Fett jumping in here, and let's see here. Gun Bunny saying, "Damn, he blew that O-ring out." It can be bad. We got Izzy Trevi jumping in, and then we have Fatrid jumping in also. All right, so woo. Matthew says, my record is 9 in a row consecutive, but I haven't had one in decades. I did 5 years of allergy shots. The thing is, I'm not allergic to anything. No, and it will be, I mean, I know I've been on the phone with Tony, and I mean, it's happened at client's office. It never happened, like I said, when I was wearing the mask, thank God. Because you can't really take the mask off, especially back then. And you're sneezing. 9, I'd be happy with. It sucks when you're driving and it happens because you're like straight line, straight line, straight line. Don't break. But yeah, it can be one of those things. And just the sun hits the wrong way. I really have no idea why. A factor says, yeah, I am also a multi-sneezer. And I have those, like, every sneeze sounds like that. I don't sneeze out my nose. It comes out like you heard. It's rough. So anyway. Whew. Okay. So where was that? Say hi to the chat. Okay, videos. So if you noticed, there hasn't been very much leading up until this week. So I had the 3 classic videos, General Hawk or version 2 Hawk, Slipstream, and the Conquest. This week, I have the Hydro Sled, Xandar, and the Zorana. Now, a lot of the people that are channel members, if they've watched some of the O-ring stuff that I have put out there, because I put it out for channel members until it goes live, the volume is really low. And I got a new phone. I got the iPhone 17. And for some odd reason, the microphone that I was using was super, super low. And I didn't realize it till after I had recorded everything, because I've never had an issue with it. So I was able to bump up the volume a little bit. I had to go and order a new microphone. The new microphones seem to sound better, although obviously I haven't actually used them. I've just done some testing on them. So I guess we will find out after tomorrow, after Circle of Jerks, when I go down and I start just recording a bunch of stuff so I can get stuff going out for the rest of the week. So if you notice that, there's no reason to really let me know. I do know it should be rectified now. Let's see. Checkpoint Alpha says, the last time I watched you, I took a picture of that light up Cobra logo, found it on, I think, Etsy, and bought it for myself. So those ones, we found those at Motor City Comic Con, and they just pop right out. That's what's actually really cool. We got a Buffy the Vampire Slayer one. She does have a Stitch one. I know we have a Buffy the Vampire Slayer one. She has a Stitch one, and we have another one. And they just slide out. But they're really cool. They're really cool because it's just like a little puck. But yeah, they're fun and they look cool. And why haven't you been watching? Like, that's what I don't understand. What do you mean? The last time you watched? Where'd you go? Snow jumping in here. And Matthew says, my sneezes are sonic booms when I have them. Yep, that's how I feel. Cobweb, I thought you were allergic to Ohio. Oh, I am. But I got to talk nice when I drive through Ohio so the car doesn't break down. So anyway, if you are watching, if you're a channel member and you've noticed that you've watched some of them and you noticed that the volume was really low, that is the reason. And again, to make 95 cents off a video, I was just not going to go and redo them all. As easy as they are still time consuming within my life. So I kind of back away. I'm like, all right, well, you know what? It will work for the most part. Anyway, I do have classified. So I should have Lifeline tomorrow. Supposedly Hit and Run is supposed to be here, but it hasn't shipped yet from Amazon. So I'm starting to wonder if that's actually going to come in. I got 3 different Savage Crucibles. I get 2 figures. And then I also have the play set or the chains and all this other stuff that I think will be actually pretty cool once I get it up and running together. I think it might work really good for, let's say, Once a Man Cobra Commander, if you want him in chains, and Cobra Law has him down. I got the Operation Recall stuff coming. I think there's 4 figures that I'm coming, and I like to review everything individually if possible. And then the rest of the classified stuff is supposed to be coming sometime this month. So I know other people have gotten it. Mole Rat. It sounds like Entertainment Earth got Mole Rat and Lifeline in stock, which I would assume that means Sergeant Red should be getting them soon. And then the other 2, which is Night Viper and the tall guy. Can't think of his name. They're expected by the end of the month on Amazon too. So I know people are starting to get them. Big lob. Before anyone jumps in, big lob. All right. We got Ostradamus Toys jumping in here, and Checkpoint Outfit says, I was in Arizona hiking trip. I hope you had fun. I hope you didn't twist any ankles. I remember an episode of 90210 when Brandon and Dylan went hiking, and he didn't have his hiking boots. And of course, he slipped and almost fell off the rocks. But luckily, he survived. He lost a shoe, though. But I do have that coming. And I also got a surprise thing from 44D2 today. And they were, and I did a video with his rocket pods for the Dragonfly. Well, I come home today and I see the 2 boxes, one from Savage Crucibles, one from Big Bad Toy Store, which I was expecting. And I saw this secondary box and I thought maybe it was Top Fun Toys. It was not, but as soon as I saw the name, I knew who it was from. And he sent new rocket pods that he's done for the Dragonfly. They're black and they're a little bit longer. So I will probably be doing those. Doing a short little review on that. Those rocket pods are really cool. I know I actually have a pair on my Dragonfly right now, but it's the ones that actually go to the Rattler. These ones are black. I think they're actually going to fit. Like the color is going to look better. But he said, hey, if Cobra steals it, he literally puts it in his little things. If Cobra steals it, these will work on the Rattler. So it's actually cool to come home and have a surprise in the mail from him. So I'll probably get that done this weekend. So look for that. I know he has them up. He's been posting some of the stuff recently. So, and there's stuff that he's made himself. Again, I really do like what a lot of these 3D printers are doing. So that's why I'm going to have one on next week, believe it or not. So we got Russell Lemieux jumping in here also. I say that a lot. Also. Crestdale Crow says, I got the whole wave already. Check your local small business. They are not getting it because Entertainment Earth doesn't have it yet. I did see that the CMD store has them for like $35. Then you're going to do a ship. Oh, man. That's crazy. No, Entertainment Earth only has 2 of them as of right now. So I guess we'll see. But I don't think that anyone in the U.S. other than Amazon is getting them. Big Bad Toys said they are expecting Lifeline, Mole Rat, and Hit and Run soon, but the other 2 have not have not shown up, or we haven't gotten the message yet. Plus, they're not in my pile of loot yet either. But anyway, we will see. All right, so I want to say big thank you to Red Toys Galaxy for Thursday with a Friend. He's the only person I've ever really had to push back because I was sick, which I'm doing much better now. I go in for my checkup tomorrow, but I'm assuming everything's still going to be just as copacetic as I have been feeling the past 2 weeks. I feel like I'm just throwing money down the drain by going. Yeah, Red Toys Galaxy. He does a lot of stuff. He does a lot of stuff. A lot of live streams, a lot of world building, a lot of 3D printing. He's doing a lot of stuff with toy domination. And if you've never met Dom or talked to Dom, he's another great guy. I've had him on Thursday with a friend too. So please, if you haven't yet, go check that out. Go check out his channel. Go subscribe and do all that other good stuff that you should already have done. This week I have JoeFan84 on. It's probably going to be a little bit shorter. He said he'd like to try and keep it to somewhere between 2 to 2.5 hours. And, hey, that works. That works for me. I know I normally go, 3+ hours. I don't mind doing a shorter, having a shorter conversation. I do always have to wake up in the morning. But I'll have JoeFan84, who I met at JoeFest. So go over there. Make sure you hit that, the remind me so you don't forget. I'll tell you what, I have noticed more and more while doing Thursday with a Friend. Sometimes when I have someone on who is maybe bigger in the community, I think like, hey, a lot of people are going to want to tune in. And I find out a lot of people, they're not as interested, maybe because they already know. And then when I get some of these smaller creators on, I notice, man, we got 30 to 40 people hanging around the whole, 3 hours, listening to what they have to say. And I love it. That's what that whole show was created for, was so, we could get to meet other people in the community that are doing the same stuff that we are. Not like that next big toy creator, the next big YouTuber, what can somebody do to help me? It helps create the community. That's what I love about, like, again, it's just like another extended version of Joe Fest. I was doing that before I went to Joe Fest. I was doing Thursday with a Friend before I went to Joe Fest. But that's what Joe Fest is. Like, you get to talk to these people, you get to know these people. And that's really all that I wanted for that show. And like I've said before, I'm more proud of that show than this, even though this one is more popular. So, Billy Butch jumping in here. We had not Rachel, Carlos Selena saying Amazon is waiting for Bobby B to post all of his reviews before they release the next wave. Bobby B's already done them all. I think Bobby's done them all a long time ago. Liquid Identity jumping in saying I'm a viewer, not a community member. Sorry. Okay. I don't know how to take that. Alex Martinez saying hello, Mr. Punk, and the Nerd Alert says, Punk, what's up, chat? What's up? All right. I don't know. Liquid Identity, sometimes we read your comments, and sometimes I'm like, I don't know, like, is this guy angry with us? Does he not like us? We don't fully understand some of the comments. Yeah. Anyway, as for Roman, he is still limping around. I'll be taking him in at the end of the month. He's rough on that thing, and we get him to calm down. But I opened up the door today, and I didn't see the cat, and he fucking bolted after a cat. And again, he's using a lot of. He's not really. He'll be able to walk with both legs, but then he'll limp, and he's doing the hobbling, and I'm really, really starting to fear that he's going to need surgery, which is just, again, no one wants to pay that. I think the surgery is about $3,000. I mean, I don't want to pay it. I worry more about, this surgery, if he needs the surgery, and finding a way to keep him, sedated and not bolting like that. That's what's going to be difficult because, you can't communicate, and he sees a cat. Fucking hate cats. Stupid fucking stray cats around here. Absolutely hate them. Action Figuratorium says you are all individuals. Yes, you. Yes, everyone is an individual. I sure hope so. Allison Troy jumping in and say, if you have shown up for 5 live streams, you officially are absorbed into the community. It's science. Yeah, pretty much. I don't know why community is such a it's such a hot topic. It's such a hot topic. Like there's a community everywhere. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a good community. It can be a bad community, but it's still a community. I don't understand why so many people hate that word, or try and say that they're not part of a community. It makes very, very little sense. Lego Star Wars kid jumping in, hey Punk, hi everyone. And then Billy Butch says, I enjoy this show and I appreciate the insight. Love the banter between shows like Crow, 3 stars, and yours. Thank you very much. Both those guys are friends of mine. Again, I talked to them a good amount. And yeah, I definitely I agree. There are shows that, there's shows that are different than other ones. And no better, no worse. People go about things a little bit differently. And as long as everyone's having fun, but I definitely like to bring people in, and I want everyone to be seen for sure. So anyway, Liquid Identity says, yeah, I love Joe. Like watching this channel. Enjoy the people around here. Sorry I shoot too straight and honest sometimes. I will never be someone who has an issue with someone shooting things straight. If there is anything I think most people realize, I will say pretty much what's on my mind. But no, again, sometimes you'll say some stuff and we're kind of like, I don't understand. You're not the only one. There's a few different people. And I've had chats with you. Like, we've gone back and forth. So believe me, I'm not sitting here thinking that like, hey, I'm not sitting here thinking that you're a bad guy. There's only a few people that I do not like that come in my chat. But again, if you go all over the internet and blast blast me and blast my moderators, why the fuck would you think that I'm going to like you? It makes no sense whatsoever. Billy Boy is totally jumping here saying, hey, Punk, hey, chat. The Nerd Alert says, Punk, I see some cool stuff on the table, street scene in the background. Over here. Well, I actually just shifted shit around. This is this is the X-Men 97 right now. I have a little short of it up, if you haven't seen it. And the street scene back there, I just you can catch the stuff in the Darth Vader Captain America short, which has hit like 33,000 views. And I have like 55 to 60 dislikes. How do you dislike a 13-second video of Captain America jumping at Darth Vader? Thank you for the interaction. Just Jeff jumping in and saying, good evening, how folks are doing well. I think something got missed in translation there. But anyway, I'm trying to see, is there someone else jump in here? Oh man, I missed a whole bunch of man, I got really far behind here. Dead Man jumping in and say, what's up, Punk? All right. And look at this. Stew for Lunch saying, Shalom to Punk and all the marvelous moderators in the chat room, of course. I only have 2 moderators. You know why? Because you guys basically moderate yourself. You guys take care of everything. I don't have to worry about shitheads too much. And every now and then we get some shitheads. Anyway, I do want to mention the short. If you haven't checked out the short, again, it was a little short. It's got like 33,000 views. It's Captain America versus Darth Vader. And it was literally a little 13-second video. I put it to some Darth Vader, and that's by far the best short that I've done. I had one other one that did like 32,000. It was just fun, and it's kind of cool. I looked at him like, I just happened to pull up my thing, and I'm like, oh, wait, 4.1 thousand views in an hour. Wait a minute, what the hell is going on? And then I saw what it was. So, but yeah, I have like 55 to 60 dislikes, which it just makes me laugh. I'm like, how are you like? What is there to dislike about this? I didn't even waste any of your time, like 13 seconds. Andrew Davis jumping in and saying, "What up, punk?" And let's see, Troy Believer saying, "I'm here for the community. The community and collecting has been one shining light over this last year of utter BS." Again, depending how you look at everything, and depending on where you decide that where you want to try and fit in. Again, we're all a bunch of fucking misfits, and we're adults playing with toys, man. Again, I come from a skateboard world. You want to talk about a bunch of misfits trying to fit into one spot. And again, you come from guys that are punk and straight edge to guys that drink probably too much. And then you got the high-ons. And then you just got like the guys that just skate, and you show up at a skate park, or back in the day was at a scene, at a setup, and you don't care. You're just there for one reason, and it's just to hang out there. And you're just there to hang out and enjoy one thing that you guys all have in common. So Michael G. Femmer said, dislikes on the Captain America Vader. Some people just need to touch grass. It was funny because when I was scrolling through it, I was going through the YouTube studio. I just happened to notice that it said like 75% likes, and I was like, wait a minute, it has like 160 likes or something like that. I'm like, that's a lot of dislikes, and I click on it. I'm like, holy shit, dude, like, what is there to dislike about this? Todd C has joined us. All right, I'm just saying if anyone else has anything to say other than talking to each other. Yeah, but it was again, it just kind of makes me laugh. It's interaction, and that's what matters, man. It's like, we've said this numerous times. If you dislike something, you're still showing interaction. If you go and watch something, even if you don't like someone, you're showing them interaction. So if you truly dislike someone, just don't watch their stuff. Don't watch their stuff. Avoid it. And if you don't care, and I really don't, I watch some channels that I don't like. I'm not giving them the view. I don't really care. It's not coming out of my pocket. But I don't go around disliking stuff, because I have better things to do in my life than dislike someone, than give a thumbs down, which I think is awesome. I think it's awesome for like young kids. That's not me. All right. Like I mentioned, Joe Fest is 4.5 months away. I think now is the time to start ramping it up, whatever you want to say. Start talking about it. I'll probably reach out to Ed in the near future to have him on to talk about it. I am truly looking forward to it. It is the one convention, obviously, not only myself, but you've heard us all talk about it. And again, it's one of those things. I think if you're able to go to it, Matthew, you should be able to go to it by now. It's the one that it's like someone else has put it on. They've done all the hard work. We just have to make it there. We just have to make it there and see our friends. And, it's odd because some of these conventions, there are now cliques that people don't like this one or don't like that one. And again, I'm just there to hang out with guys that I'll get to see once a year. And a lot of these guys are from overseas. Obviously, guys in the chat right now. It is so much fun. And again, if you have any good conventions, I know DFW is one where a lot of people go to. I know Matthew likes going there. He sees guys like Not Rachel and a few other guys. It's great to have that. Assembly Required is very similar. Legions Con, if you're into like obviously Mythic Legions, the Four Horsemen stuff, or any type of that fantasy stuff, that's another one that you're gonna see a whole bunch of people that they're nerds like us. They are into this stuff, and again, I think if you find that one convention to go to, you're just gonna meet a whole bunch of people in the chat, and this is what's great for me. All right, GI Jetman jumping in and saying hello, Punk and chat. Woo! All right, I'm just going on and on and on. And here is Joe Fan 84, who again will be on this Thursday to Thursday with the friend, and I was already mentioning it. It's gonna be a little bit shorter. He asked if we can go only about 2 to 2.5 hours. Like I said, I'm okay with that. I really don't feel the need to always be on for 3+ hours, even though some people may not believe that. It is true. All right. Tomorrow, Circle of Jerks around 6:30, 6:35. I might be a little late. Like I said, I have a doctor's appointment. I haven't even let them know. So, Tony, if you're listening, I think you're the only one listening, or at least you were. I might be late tomorrow. And now Ed and Travis, part of the Toy Elite, they're no longer on Tuesdays. They go on Sundays. I totally forgot about it, but it was also Super Bowl Sunday. I'm guessing you guys probably weren't on yesterday. So tomorrow at 10 p.m., Matthew and Pop Blender go on with the evening blend. They jump on. They do their they do their thing. It's not technically a toy thing. It's pop culture stuff, and that's, you got to get away from toys. I know some of you, Matthew, listens like every single toy tube. He's the greatest resource of toy tubing ever. I think Ed can attest to that. Like, Matthew will send us shit like, hey, he'll send us a clip of something, and he'll say, tell us something that happened in our mods chat, and Ed and I will be like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? Like, context, motherfucker, context. Like, what you talk? Oh, yeah, I don't watch that, so give me some context to what you're talking about. But anyway, but I do want to mention once again, the Super Bowl champion, the Seattle Seahawks. So I did this picture here. As you can see, this is when it was 29-13. I got Alpine giving his condolences to Bazooka, saying, sorry, buddy, May just is no Brady. The other three people are from Massachusetts. And of course, well, Flint and Lady J, there's a reason for that. So, and if you don't know, then you obviously don't watch, you don't know the G.I. Joe lore at all. So anyway. All right, Evil Dookie, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I said that you stole my stuff. I apologize. Don't lose your shit. I'm just messing with you. Don't fuck with Evil Dookie. That motherfucker will kill everyone. I don't mean that. That motherfucker will go nuts on everyone. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can find it out. I had a nice talk with Dookie. He's a good sport. He's a good sport about stuff. K Dog Broadcasting. That Super Bowl win gave me some compensation, even if I have to deal with hearing 12 for a whole stupid year. I got it. Oh, dude, I'm with you. The whole 12th man, like, shut the fuck up, dude. There are so many cities, so many stadiums that are loud. The fact that they think they're special, oh my gosh. Tony, Big Duke's on the warpath. Get him, Dukes. Hey, I'm stepping out of the way of that one. I'm letting evil Dookie go right by me. All right, you take care of what you need to do. And I mean it in the most loving way possible. I think Dookie, you are going to Joe Fest, right? I think we are. I think we discussed this, sir. I think we discussed it. So I'm definitely, if you're going, definitely looking forward to getting to chat with you and getting to know. Man, there's so many people going, so many new people, and obviously so many people that we've already met. I can't wait, man. It really is that much fun. But anyway, let's get into it. But before we do, let's play something. Let's play a little something that I'm talking about for tomorrow night.
Idiots! Incompetent buffoons! What is it now, Commander? Consummate morons, incapable of coherent thought! Are you watching that show again? Yes. Why didn't you just watch Pop Blender and Matthew's discussions, news, reviews before the show came out? Whether you agree or disagree, the perspectives provide enough context to know if the show or movie is worth your time or not. Yes, I know. I will not miss another Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 Central on Pop Blender's channel. Be more than once a man by watching Pop Blender and Matthew talk about pop culture news, discussions, and reviews on Tuesday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central. And now you know. Televiper, be sure to hit like, share, and subscribe so we do not miss another episode, and hit that bell notification.
Fired? Have you recently lost your job with a major toy manufacturer? Tariffs got you down? You may be entitled to sharing your story on a major media streaming outlet. We want you to dish the dirt. Call Circle of Jerks at 900-555-0979. We will exploit you for our personal gain. That number again is 900-555-0979. Circle of Jerks. Every client gets a cookie.
All right, so there we go. So tomorrow, Circle of Jerks, about somewhere around 6:30. I don't know when the fuck Baldy starts it. I'm just there. I have nothing to do other than just show up and show my bald head. And then around 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we get Matthew Matson and Pop Blender doing the evening blend. We got David T. Allen, who will be on Thursday with a friend at the end of the month. He's already said, hey, please remind me. That's kind of far out. He was like, that's kind of far out, dude. Or he was like, hey, that's kind of far out. Please remind me. Yeah. So anyway, let's talk a little toy news as we got Nacelle. Nacelle is wow, there's something else right now. And I mean this in the way of like, hey, he wants to make something. He clearly has money, not from toys, where he's putting his own money into it, as he's going pretty heavy into Star Trek. So I want to say hi to Hustle's jumping in and saying, sup, fellas. And that is he has this is a 1/10 scale original Constitution class USS Enterprise bridge playset. Again, 1/12 or 1/10 is a fairly large scale. I don't know why he decided to go 1/10 over 1/12, as everything right now is in one. Not everything, but most stuff is in 1/12, and I think it would have been smarter. But he talks about how, like, hey, you know what, Motu had Eternia, G.I. Joe had the flag. I don't know if you know this, I had the flag, and now this here, he's doing a whole bridge, and it's fucking large. as you can see, USS Enterprise NCC 1701, built to scale for 1/10 action figures. Each section stands alone in a complete mini set piece. 12 securely locking sections assembled into the iconic Enterprise bridge. Lights and sound effects add life to the atmosphere. I have no interest in getting this, but I absolutely love it. I've said it before. I will say it again. I love the fact that there are people that are getting stuff that are collectors of things that I don't collect. I love the fact that they're getting stuff like this. This is actually really cool. I wish it was in a different scale. Now this may be something that you can make work with, 1/12 scale. And yeah, Matthew, I'm with you. Like 1/10, what the fuck? I agree. Like, why not one? And it doesn't help that Star Wars is actually a little undersized compared to the other 1/12 scale. So there are so many people that wanted to mix Star Wars with Star Trek. And I think it's great that people are getting this, but again, 1/12. And now it's too late because you've already started doing the stuff. You've already started putting some of the stuff out. And it's disappointing. Michael Gene Fleming says, didn't NECA or someone make 7-inch Star Trek previously? That may be why they went with that scale. I'm hoping that it will be close enough to squint test into the Terradrome command room. And that might be something, again, I think that you might be able to do. I don't know if anyone else did a 7-inch. I don't know if anyone else did a 7-inch one. And Gun Bunny here says you can use that as interior computer components for the Terradrome. And Viper Scout, look at him. I have a flag. Doesn't it feel like it just feels good to say, right? It just feels good to say out loud. No one else may care, but it just feels good to say, I have a flag. And Matthew says, I also don't believe the cell will finish it. Where are the Expanse figures? So many promises, too many. But he literally named the company after the warp nacelles. So I think if he finishes anything, it will be Star Trek. But you are correct. Those, God, if I remember those Expanse figures, I want to say that we saw them we saw the first pictures at God, with the place in Ohio. Ed, where do we see these at? PowerCon. So yeah, I think if he's gonna finish anything, it'll be this for sure. But anyway, yeah, it was a long time ago, and that was the first that I'd seen it. They were just regular pictures, but again, like, is that, when you look at that property, is that property big enough to? I'm not talking about Star Trek, The Expanse. Is that property big enough to actually get people to buy it? I watched it for a while, and then you kind of phase out of it because it's just like, all right, this is a lot going on, and it kept going on and on and on. I should probably go back and finish it. So, but anyway, if you are into the Star Trek stuff, I know guys like Just Jeff are. I feel like as cool as Star Trek is, there's a reason why the toys don't really seem to do all that well. It's never been a super action. It's never been a real action series. I guess maybe the earlier ones are, and there is action, but it's more action with the ships. So anyway, that is the sell if you need it. The Four Horsemen, well, they came and dropped a few things, and we knew that they were doing their own type of Dungeons and Dragons game. I don't understand anything about it. I look at pretty pictures of action figures, and here we have the Mythic Legions, the role-playing game, Heroic Elf Rogue. It is a Kickstarter right now for $29.99. So you can, I believe you can order now. Now they did, I don't have the picture of it. They did show off these two characters that we're going to see, and there's 2 more spots for other characters that they just have like the the black silhouette, kind of like what they did with the G.I. Joe figure, but I'm sure we'll see very shortly. So, but this is the heroic elf rogue. Now $30 on the Kickstarter. I was having a hard time understanding their pricing and how this is all going up. Again, I know if you buy stuff on the Kickstarter or you pre-order stuff, you get it much cheaper. That's just how they do it. And then you'll get retail after. But you're also going to be waiting anywhere from 9 to 15 months, depending on how long it takes to get the figures done. But if you know that you're all in on this, then it's well worth it. I've said it before. If Hasbro did this with Classified, I would have no issue saying, hey, you know what? $20 for all these figures, and I'm going to have to wait a year. I don't care. I'll drop the money right now. And when they come in, it's like free figures and we're good to go. So here we go. You can kind of take a look at this figure here. And I do think it looks really nice, which I think all their stuff is. So this is all that he comes with. He is supposed to be, I believe, an army builder of some sort, as they're going to give you different accessory packs, different head packs, so you can make different figures. And you'll see this in the next figure that we're going to do. But you get, a dagger, a couple little, throwing knives. It looks like some sort of belt, and then a couple different hands. So you don't get a lot, but if you collect Mythic Legions or any Four Horsemen stuff, you probably have a shit ton of extra accessories. It won't be that hard to build him up. And then we get the Mythic Legions, the role-playing game, Heroic Cleric figure, the character pack, and character pack. So $30 for the figure, $15 for the character pack on the Kickstarter. So if I am correct, and please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, this is the Dubon head from a while back. I might be saying it wrong. If I am, I'm sure someone will lose their mind and correct me, or they'll just flip out. There is one thing that I don't know if anyone else really does it still. But I know the Four Horsemen, they still reuse a lot of the face sculpts, which seems kind of weird in this day and age. I mean, that's kind of one of the things that most companies have gotten away from. But I like the way this one looks. And again, when you look at Dubon has the big cloak that goes over it, and it blends in with the hood. I think this looks really good, how the hood is actually supposed to go into the outfit that he's wearing underneath the armor. So I like it. I think they did a really good job with that. But anyway, and that was correct pronunciation. Dubon. See, I get things right from time to time. I might completely forget it later on. And the Vine Jungle Figure Factory. Crazy Monday, but here I am. Great to have you here. I mean, I know I don't see you in here very often, but I know that we have chatted, because he is not the one that designed the Roman Duke logo that you see, but he is the one that colored it in to make it work. A matter of fact, here I can show you quickly here. He colored that in. He did not design it, but he was able to color it in really quickly. And once again, I got to say thank you so much for doing that. But anyway, I like this guy. I like the way he looks. I like the colors. The Dubon is such an awesome figure. And again, you can make the head sculpts look a little bit I mean, with the different paint, obviously the red. So this is one I could definitely see myself picking up. I'm kind of in the minority. I feel like I like the humanoid characters, the human characters, the knights and stuff, more than I like any of their like creatures and stuff like that. I think most people feel the opposite. I like the knights a lot more. So, all right. So here's the character pack, and this is what you can make out of them. It has a different head and sword and shield. And once again, if you have other, Mythic Legions figures for Horseman figures, this is exactly, what it's made for. And for $15, probably not a bad price. I will mention again, if you are a toy fan and you do not have any Four Horsemen stuff, Mythic Legions, Cosmic Legions. I'm not a big fan of Cosmic Legions. I've talked about that, but the Mythic Legions, Cosmic Legions, and obviously the figure Obscura, you need to get one, just so you can see what people rave about. Their paint, their sculpts, they're amazing. They probably do the best female sculpts in toys. I've talked about it before. Some of the female sculpts that they've done. And yeah, they'll reuse them, but man, they look so good. We got 610 Yojo Daddy saying, "What's up, Punk? What's up, fellas? Y'all smash that like button and subscribe." Yes, please. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe. Where are we sitting? We are at 8,497 viewers. If you can believe, I can't believe we're almost at 8,500. This year's been pretty good so far. Hoping that we'll hit 10,000. I'd like to hit 10,000 before we do the streamathon or the punkathon, and see if I can actually get them to waive all the fees for the waive all the fees for the super chats, so we can just do everything that way. But I'm not going to hold my breath because I still don't trust YouTube with all that stuff. To be 100% honest. Steve Martin jumping in, say, "Evening peoples." What do you mean, you people? Oh, you didn't say you people. All right. So it does say further updates possible with parts from add-on sets. So this is the one thing that everyone told me before I ever got any Four Horsemen stuff is these things are meant to be customized. They're meant to be swapped out. Basically, you think of Masters of the Universe as kids, or even, I guess, even G.I. Joe, Real American Hero, just at a much grander scale, with much better sculpts, paint, accessories, and all that other good stuff. So we got Jamie Garcia jumping in saying, "Hello, everyone." All right. So here's the character pack. You can kind of see everything. You got the different face plates. And those are face plates. They will pop out as they should. But anyway, there's a new player figure that you've made, Paladin, and the base player is the Cleric. I like the color schemes. I think they really look nice. I like the red and what it's gold or yellow that's kind of going through it. So if you are interested, I can see myself picking up some of these, and they're not expensive as of right now. And I'm assuming this will go up to a $45 figure eventually. So. And then we have Jake Anderson jumping in, member for 23 months. So that's right. You're going to get the
Fucking Phil Collins.
And like I said, Phil is not doing so well. So the chances of me getting him on Thursday with the friend, although I guess he needs like 24-hour health care now. I mean, he's at home. He doesn't have anything else going on. 3-star jumping in here saying, "Oh, he comes with Simon." I see what you did there. So anyway, that is the Four Horsemen. You don't have much. Marvel Legends. Now, nothing new from Marvel Legends. This was something that did go up. And this is the Ghost Rider and Motorcycle. $55.99. That's how much it is on Hasbro Pulse and on BBTS. So I had no interest in this. As a matter of fact, I kept looking at this, and it kind of reminded me of the one that they recently did, I think, in a smaller scale. I think of the 3.75 scale. The more I look at this, the more I'm like, I kind of like this. So I'm talking myself into getting this. I haven't pre-ordered it. I would just say that. But yeah, And this is just a repaint, from what I can tell, of the other two figures, the one that comes with the bike, and also the re-release that they did. I don't know if there's too much that's different on it. Well, is it pinless? Maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe it's just the design of it. That's what it is. Yes, the 5 POA version. That's what I'm thinking of, which is like 3.75, something like that. So Crow says it is that 3.75 scale one, done 6-inch. I have the little one. I may get this one just because of that. Again, the first time I saw it, I had no interest in it. The more that I looked at it, the more I'm like, I like this. I like the blue and I like the white stripes. He does look pinless, so I think maybe this is a new buck. I think maybe this is a completely different buck. But yeah. Troy Bleefer, it says, I guarantee that it's cheaper than Zanya and the Swamp Skier than Zanya and the Swamp Skier will be. I think that's going to be $60. And which is odd considering a licensing. But you'll probably get more with Zanya. Though when I first saw this, when they first showed this off, I just like, oh, this is just a red bike. And the more you see, pictures of it, you realize, yeah, the bike is all red, but there are actually a good amount of little details to it that make it not, you see that it's not all red. And I know Evil Dookie said during his one of his latest live stream, he did a live stream. I'm not sure. I don't know. He was blabbing on about something, and one of his favorite toy tube customizers. But he said, I'm guarantee you they're going to do this in a black version too. And he's probably right. He says they ordered 3. And I know he said he's going to be doing some work on some customs, but you can see like the license plate here. We can see the reflecting or the reflector mirrors, and it looks like the wheels are going to be a little bit different. They're a different red, but then you get the yellow the yellow headlight. Like I said, the more that I see this, the more I'm like, I do like this. Man, I'm just talking myself into getting this. But yeah, I like this more than I realized I was going to. The flames, the skull, which comes off, he can hold the skull. You saw it in the one picture. Again, I think this looks pretty good. And when they do repaint it, and they definitely will. This is something that people will buy. People are going to buy this to make Dreadnought bikes. Let's be honest, along with a bunch of swamp skiers. And Evil Dookie is saying it should have come with ape hangers. But does anyone? And again, like, it would be what would be smart is if they made it so. If they would have made it so these things can be swapped around. They can easily do a swap here the same way they did with the Stinger and the Vamp. Like that's what they should have done with the Hiss. All these things that they can make changes on it. But the more that you see this actual bike, you can see that the first showing, I thought it was just a plain red, but you can see the grips here are black. You can see that his seat is a different color red. The tires are a different red. You got the yellow light. So I actually like the way it looks. And again, it gives you that mystic feel. And then right here, you can see the speedometer. I do like where the skull goes. It just has the accents, and I think the blue really pops off it. I've almost convinced myself into buying it. So, and then the flames. The flame. Hey, imagine if you would have got a car, the Engine of Vengeance. You could have had a car with flames on it too. Or I guess you could buy the ramen one and buy the flames. 3-star says, "Is there a reason is almost all red?" I don't know and I don't either. I would guess so. Maybe someone in the chat can kind of fill us in, but I believe so because this is the second time they've done it. So Crow probably knows. You know, he's all into that. So here's everything that you're gonna get with it. Multiple hands, multiple heads. You get an extra skull. You get the bike, which I think the bike is, again, you know, I don't think it'd be too hard to paint, especially if you get those paint markers. I know that Tony's talked about, you know, I've mentioned to you guys. Yeah, this is something I think you could easily paint, highlight the, you know, accent the engine and different things like that. So Tony says that's the way it looked in the early comics. So yeah, I like this. I do. But anyway, whatever pre-order is $55.99 BBTS. This is one of those things where I don't think this is going to be a RossCon find, but I definitely do think that this is one of these ones where we might see it on discount eventually. Anything that's $50 or more when it comes to Marvel Legends, you normally will see on sale eventually. But I will also reiterate this. If you like something, do not play clearance chicken with it. Just buy it. If you have the money and you're like, I really like this, I have to have it, but I'm going to wait till it's on clearance, that's on you if you don't get it and you end up having to spend more money. If you're like, hey, I like this, but I don't need it, but if I find it for $30, I'll pick it up, then that's great. But just know that, hey, if you really want something like this or anything, just get it. Don't play the clearance chicken. Cobra Commander jumping in here saying, "What's up, gang? It's red because in the comics he joined the Bloods." Troy Bleaford says the Wolverine with bike and actual bike colors is only $35 or something on Amazon. If any is looking the Dreadnoughts bike, if anyone is looking for the Dreadnought bikes, hey, you can go buy $10, maybe like 12 or 13 now. $10 bikes at I think like Masato. Someone will know. They fit 12-inch figures because they are 1/12 scale. They're a little small, but not to the point where they look like they're riding like little bikes. I actually have one for Zartan, and I think they make a whole bunch of them. They're like $10 each, and they're actually pretty nice. So. You know, clearance chicken is a real thing. It is a real thing for people. And again, if that's how you want to collect, go for it. But I would say don't be mad if you don't get something that you wanted. Rowdy Riles jumping in here saying howdy. Usually she is in right early on. Not now. Well, again, you're paying $10 for a bike. And if you just want bikes for your shots around your Dreadnoughts, they work perfectly fine, and you can get them on there. But yeah. And there's the box for it. They didn't have a regular picture for the box, so I did this. All right. 1 second here. All right, Mezco. Man, I lost my voice. All right, Mezco decided to drop a night crawler, $160 on Mezco. I believe it's also $116 on BBTS. Now, if you buy it on Mezco, you're either going to pay all up front or you can put, I think, 10% down. If you buy it from Mezco, the shipping is like $16. You can buy from BBTS. You put a small down payment down. I think it's normally like $10, and then it can either go into your pile of loot, or you just spend $4. And here's another thing: sometimes BBTS and sometimes even the independent dealers. I've seen Sergeant Reds and other places in the area get Mezco before Mezco get them in. So Mezco doesn't always get stuff in, and Mezco you may not know this. They have like the absolute, and I mean it, the absolute worst customer service ever. So God forbid, God forbid, something breaks. Or let's say they lose your $325 your $325 rumbler that you were waiting on. You'll eventually get it sometimes. I only had to contact like 5 people and threaten to cancel or dispute it on my credit card. But anyway, if you want a Nightcrawler, here you go. And I think it does look pretty good. I was watching Robo Don't Know, and he breaks it down really, really well. Kind of pointing out that, there's 3 different tails. It doesn't have, he doesn't have articulated toes, which something like this, I think, probably would be beneficial, especially for the price that you're paying. But Robo even pointed out that Mezco has a tendency to adjust some of their pictures. And this is where I go back to, it's easier to pose a figure where you cannot, like, they have the soft goods. It's easier to pose a figure if you're not worried about breaking it, because you can grab a replacement and all you have to do is get stuff into the picture and then you're done. But anyway, the smoke effects with a light up feature, which I think is actually pretty cool. Again, this is specifically for photography. This does not have like a USB port, so they're not going to last all that long. The battery will wear out, but if you get some nice photography and nice shots, then you should be good. And I think most people would like it. Jedi out of the Grain Path jumping in and saying, my Mezco Gambit staff was broken when I got it. He's using a Marvel Legends 1. Did you contact them? Better yet, if you contacted them, did they ever reply? And if they replied, was it with just their generic fucking message? They have the worst customer service. I don't even know why I'm laughing over the customer service. It's so fucking bad. It is so fucking bad. I never got the Duke replacements that they said they would send me, and then when I responded and I asked about it, they give me some fucking attitude. And I don't give a shit as a gun. I can get other guns, I guess. You said you were going to replace it. The Rumbler was a whole different deal. When you spent $350 on something, you're like, yeah, I'm not letting this one go. But anyway, if you like this Kurt Wagner, you can get it. I don't think the face sculpt is great for how I think of Nightcrawler. Others may think it looks awesome. I mean, I think the face sculpt looks good. It's not how I picture Nightcrawler. But I will say this, at least in my experience, as much as I like the Mezco figures that I have, they don't have the greatest articulation in the world. And again, when you have covered everything up with the soft goods, and that's what they're known for, so this is not negative on them for using soft goods. You don't know how much stress you might be putting on something. But their figures, again, if you don't have any Mezco, they move much smoother than a Marvel Legends or a $25 figure. But here you go. You got his knives, his tail. And again, it does look good. So, and we'll get to everything that he does have in 1 second. Now, this is one of the things I know Robo had kind of mentioned that, the feet, they're not hands. They're actual feet that plug into them to hold the different swords. So that is, this is something when you're spending $160 on something, you're going to get these extra accessories that you're not going to get with Marvel Legends. That is the one thing that you definitely get. But here he is, and here's everything that you're going to get. As you can see, there's a couple different feet right in here, and then you're going to get the multiple hands. the different head sculpts. You get their basic base plate, which it also not only acts as a stand with a peg. You can pop the peg out, and then you have the flight stand, and they're actually really, really good flight stands. I use them for a lot of my my classified and Marvel Legends. They stand up higher than the normal ones, but they can also be moved in certain ways, and you can hide the base if you don't want to see Nightcrawler, if that's something that bothers you. Here you go, the different tails, and I'm assuming the tails will move so much, but they don't look to be on bending wire. And then you get the smoke effect, and then we have the different swords. So if you want like an ultimate Nightcrawler, this is what you're looking for. I would say go for it, especially with all the different swords. And again, these are things you can also use on some of your Marvel Legends. I know a lot of people are disappointed that there's not a sword with some of the Marvel Legends, especially the 97 one. So, all right. Like, seriously, I told you there was not a lot of news. We're at a G.I. Joe, and some stuff did happen. But first, here we go. Midtown Comics. Now, this is a Whatnot stream. Okay. I don't have Whatnot. You have to add the app. I don't want to. It is an interview with Larry Hama, February 11th. So this Wednesday, they're supposed to be revealing a new figure. I'm just going to say that someone told me that this is what they believe that it is. I'm not going to say what it is. But if it is what they said it is, I think it's going to be a shocker to a lot of people. I'm just going to say that. And if it turns out to be that, I will say, I'll tell people that if, this person was dead on the money, but just like the stuff that was told to me, a few weeks ago, or I'm sorry, a few months ago, I was told not to say anything, and I didn't. So I would just say, if what he told me is true, make sure you tune into this. Again, it's not going to take long. It's not going to take long, whatever it is. It doesn't matter what the reveal is. It's not going to take long. It's going to be all over, Instagram and all over Facebook. So it's not going to take long to figure out, to see what it is. But I'm definitely excited to see whatever character it is. Just like the blacked out character that everyone thinks is a Wild Bill. I've been told that is not Wild Bill, and I've actually been giving a name, and once again, I can't give that name either. And I know before everyone goes, why are you saying that? I don't know. There is a reason why. There is a reason why people will tell things. And if other people start breaking it, if people start saying what it is, I'll be more than happy to be like, hey, yep, this is what I was told. Yes, Viper Island is my source. Troy Beliford, I already said that I was told that Hooded Cobra Commander is coming. I reached out. Now, I've been told by numerous people, and one person I asked about it. And again, before anyone starts blasting me and saying, hey, you said that they can't do that. No, I said they weren't allowed to do it at the time. There's new people in charge. And these people, from my understanding, have said, hey, you know what? It's not an issue. So take that for what it's worth. But I would say that, again, it's not a secret anymore. But from my understanding, Hooded Cobra Commander is going to be a coming this year. Now, will we get it this year? I don't know, but hopefully we will actually see it come to fruition. If not, you can just wait for Operation Monster Force, because theirs is about to drop. Perceived Velocity jumping in here saying, I've been collecting Mythic Legion since the beginning. I've kind of hit a wall with that line. I have so many at this point. I feel like perceived velocity is living in the past. Past is great. The future is even better. No, again, I feel like that was a lot of things. Again, when it comes to, G.I. Joe, at least for me, there's such a huge lore where they've tried doing so much. You get these smaller companies that they're trying to create stuff, and they're doing a lot of just repaints and, where is the lore? And, I don't know if we're ever going to have a new property with lore like we had in the 80s because of comics and cartoons like Motu and G.I. Joe, Transformers, all that stuff. There was just so much lore that was given to us, and then so many characters that could be made. So, but anyway, all I'm going to say is be on the internet. I'm assuming, again, I don't know when they're going to be revealing it during this, but I mean, most people don't go 3 hours, so I would guess by 6 p.m., whatever this character is, it'll be all over Instagram and Facebook. Jay Solo West jumping in and say, Leatherneck Wild Bill West edition. Possibly. Who knows? Billy Boy's Toy says, I heard it's an all new character. From my understanding, the character that we saw is an all new character. Yes. And from my understanding, if you listen to Chris McLeod, he kept hinting at Native American, and that all seems to be lining up. And I'm talking about the one that everyone thinks is Wild Bill. Joe Fan says, Larry Hama fussed at me at JoeFest 25. I was asking a question while he was signing my comic. He said that he tends to write what people are saying, so wait until he's done. He tends to write what people are saying, so wait until he's done. Oh, in other words, he hears you talking and he starts, yeah. That's okay. So I'm not an autograph seeker. We took a picture with Larry at the Delta 17 booth. Myself, Ken. Oh, everyone said hi to Ken. I don't know if anyone said hi to Ken. I don't even know if Ken's here, but quickly.
Acknowledge me.
Myself, I believe Ed Action Figs, and Ken, we all took a picture with Larry. Super nice guy. But if you're getting an autograph, yeah, I feel like while they're signing, it's probably not the time to be asking them questions, although you have a limited amount of time. And again, he is the George Lucas of G.I. Joe, Real American Hero. We have Mr. Wonderful Travis jumping in here. But anyway, and he says, yeah, I got the email from BBTS about the opera. See, I did not because I bought the whole pack. And if you bought the 5-figure pack, you're not going to get those individual characters. So it kind of sucks that I put money down and I'm going to have to wait for the character unless I buy them individually. I put in orders to buy them individually, but I have a feeling that all the ones that already came in have already been taken. Have already been taken up because I didn't get a fulfillment or that it would be filling soon. So I have a feeling I'm kind of screwed out of that. Now I have to wait. So Wade Holliton says, doesn't this violate the Information Freedom Act or something? I don't know what you're talking about. I have the freedom to say whatever. I have the freedom to say whatever I want if someone tells me. But I also can tell you that if you do that, people will no longer trust you. And guess what? Mamu Nestor says, based on the name, can you confirm it is a new character? One you haven't heard of before. Well, I can say for the blacked out figure, yes. They're both new characters. They're both new characters to toys. I'll say that. I'll be interested. I'll be interested to see if it comes true. But I'm just saying, like, this popped up. Normally, you're just like, hey, okay, we saw the digital renders. They weren't too shocking. The next one can be one that it's gonna piss off some people. We'll just say that. Anyway. I'm gonna screw this up. Gouch Joe 82. Does it have something to do with Outlaw Josie Wales? I'm sorry, I gotta do this because I know I've never seen this.
Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. You gotta understand, man. I never even saw these assholes before.
It has nothing to do with Josie and the Pussycats. I will say that. It is not Bad Bunny. It's not Bad Bunny at all. But anyway, tune in. I have no idea who these guys are. Midtown Comics supposedly is like, I don't know, it's someplace in New York, from what I can understand. I mean, I've talked about a show, and they're not even doing YouTube. It's on Whatnot. Whatnot will not get it. Sergeant Reds wanted me to get it. I'm like, I need a fucking app. I'm not adding another app to it. All right. So Super 7 dropped these out of nowhere, or showcased these. And we have a Diana, a Flash, a Chuckles, and I can't think of the guy at the top for some reason. Yes, Gem confirmed. That's Gem is her name. She's truly outrageous. But okay, so I will reiterate. I love the idea of what Super 7 is doing. Their implementation is absolutely fucking awful. Once again, here we are. These are figures they're trying to sell now for $25. I look at what Operation Recall is given for $25. I am looking at what Delta 17, a total startup at the time. They do everything on their own. Yes, it is their own IP, but look at the accessories that they give you. Look at the paint. I will not buy anything sight unseen. Now, I do like the fact that we're getting a couple new characters. So we have the Hydro Viper here. Now, Chris McLeod, if you watched his the news burst, this goes back, I believe he said, to Action Force Comics 14, where this is a specific Hydro Viper that's all in red or orange or pink or whatever the fuck he is. The helmet is basically just built onto him. But yeah, so this is one of those things. And then we're going to get, is it Diana with her AK-47. Now, once again, one of the reasons why I can't stand this is that every single O-ring is using, swivel wrists, because you can actually do a lot of shit with them. Unfortunately, Super 7 is like the cheapest company. They do good artwork normally. We know about the extra finger. Still don't think it's an extra finger. So I don't think it's an extra finger. It's actually the blast effect through the trigger guard. It just is a similar color. And you can look at what the gun that he gives on the O-ring, and you can understand. But you do have the AK-47. These are new characters, so I do like that. And we have Tidarium Hanger jumping in here, saying, "Yep, these are 20 at Target, but I think they're supposed to be 25. I think on BBTS's." And they almost always will go on, clearance. MCR says, "Circular Jerks told me not to watch Chris Cloud." I believe that was Baldy. I cannot speak for everyone else, but I do believe that Baldy did say that. It was in jest. And just in case if someone goes back and reports to Chris saying, I was watching Punk with Toys and he said not to watch you. No, I've had Chris on. He's a very nice guy. And I know you understand that, but there will be some Yahoo that watches this, saying, man, I can't believe Punk would say that. Kenzo's Creations jumping in here saying, good evening, everyone. But it is nice to get these new characters. And I really do like this. Again, the problem is their implementation is normally awful. The paint is, their weapons sometimes are too large, don't fit right. Having no swivel wrist, and again, I will point out again, if you go back and watch Articulated Points, that's what Pat from the Full Force, he did a whole breakdown on why O-rings feel different from why the O-rings always felt different compared to the Real American Hero, and he breaks them all down. One of the biggest things that they've ever done is the Real American Hero faces, they weren't painted. That was the color of the plastic. You can fully see when a face is painted. It doesn't look right. And that's exactly what you have here. And everything here, this looks like this looks like the Leonard stuff. It doesn't look that good. It is there. It does exist, but it's just not great. But yeah, so it's just one of those things. But it is nice to get some new characters. And then we have Chuckles, which I guess this is what his from the cartoon movie. Again, when I look at him, I'm like, man, it looks so cheap. I mean, it does not look like a $25 or even a $20 figure. And then it took me a second to figure out that Flash is not wearing a red beret. Tell me that does not look like a red beret. This is crazy. I looked at that, and again, I know there are people that are going to lose their mind saying that we're getting a Flash. We're getting a Flash in Super 7 Reaction Plus before Classified. It is coming. They already have their weapons tooled, and I think we're 2 away from completing the OG 13. So I don't think it's one of those things where we have to worry. I will say this. The artwork on Flash, again, you take out that weapon there, and it looks so similar to what at least my head remembers for a Real American Hero. So I actually think that is actually pretty fucking cool, to be 100% honest. And here he comes. Baldy Locks jumping in saying, can't spell Full Force without toxic. Yep. And again, I didn't say it. And again, if anyone wants to run back to Chris McLeod, it is all in tongue in cheek. Jay Solarat says it's a raspberry beret. It took me a second to figure it out. Like, that's his hair. Like, I don't know. It is, I guess I don't remember. I don't remember all that well. But once again, like, this is where I go back to, there's no reason why figures being made in 2026 don't look as good as figures made in 1982 and 83. And take away the straight arm figure and you go to the swivel arm, the 83 Flash figure looks better than this figure. And yes, I understand there's different reasons for it, but man, this is just really, This is just, it's ridiculous. Billy Boy's Toy saying Hasbro is dumb for not reissuing the Vamp or not doing a Vamp Mark II. They will sell like hotcakes. They will do a Vamp Mark II. They have that mold. There is no doubt about it. Hell, Fun School is still using the original Vamp mold. Will they do another Vamp Mark I? That I don't know about. I don't know if they're ever going to do another Vamp. I think that may just be like, hey, you know what? We did this and no more. And I don't mind having something that's worth a lot more. But Event Mark II, I think, we all know we're going to get it. They're not going to let that go to waste, for sure. Into Mystery, jumping in to say, cartoons made today are inferior to the Sunbow G.I. Joe cartoon. I don't know if they're inferior to today, but it's a different time, right? We just had a different time. We only had so many channels. You sat down and you were gonna watch it. Today you have so many options. Kids have so many options. They can find whatever they want on YouTube. They can go to Disney Plus and find all this stuff. It's just different. It's never going to be the same because I'm never going to have that feel, but my kids may have a completely different feel. The same way I can easily say like, hey, dude, there's never going to be another system better than the NES or the Super NES. Well, the time dictated, yeah, this was the best, but let's be honest, by far it wasn't the best. So and Jamie Garcia, yeah, different, not inferior. I'm with you. It's inferior in my mind because it's not what I grew up on, But, again, it's one of those things where it is way different. And, I think, looking at stuff that way is it's a poor way to look at things because it really degrades what our kids, I don't have grandkids, but grandkids eventually, everyone's going to feel a little different. And it's just like the people that want to, shit on Classified and say that it's not as good as the O-Ring. Well, that's just as stupid as the 12-inch guys shitting on the O-Ring and saying that, it's not as good as the 12-inch figures. There's always going to be something that someone thinks is better. And again, I think that Jamie Garcia nailed it. Different, not inferior. So, and Matthew saying Skeletron greater than Delta 17, greater than Super 7. Okay, first off, there's a whole bunch of shit better than Super 7. And Skeletron only has one technical figure, and it's not even their figure when it comes to the O-Ring. But I also don't like putting down. I don't really want to put down what Ken and definitely what Steve has done. I definitely don't want to put down what they've done. So anyway, here are these. This is the artwork of the Hydro Viper, which I think actually does look pretty cool. I like the idea. I'll probably pick up this figure, though. There's other figures that I had wanted with the O-rings, and I've looked at, and I'm like, I can't justify spending $20 on these. It's everything on it is inferior. A matter of fact, I did a video of comparing the Super 7 O-ring Duke compared to the original and what's different, and I reference obviously what Patrick Stewart had talked about from Articulated Points, and that video still does very well. I didn't realize how many people still go and watch that, and there's just such a difference. And I try and explain it the best that I can. Here's the back of the card. I can't say anything negative about how Super 7 does it. Now, I understand they are not beholden to the 5L, the 5 language, like Hasbro is. So you actually get a real file card with everything on it, but the cross-sell is how it should be. If anyone at Hasbro is watching this, when you do your retro figures, this is how you should do it. File card should be on the bottom, and you should put a whole bunch of different retro carded figures. It doesn't have to be from that wave. It can be from multiple waves. If you remember the original ones, they would show stuff from the waves before. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. You have well over 30 figures now. Have them on there. When we flip it around, again, it is considered a retro card. This is where when people say, hey, you know what? We don't want the exact same shit from the 80s, just enlarged. Well, this here you do. This is literally called retro. This is called retro. So this is where I will not knock Super 7 at all. They do it absolutely right. And this is one of those things, other than, there's a lot of language on the bottom, and again, things change. If you flipped over an original, a Real American Hero card, and you were looking at it, you'd be like, wow, this fits in just perfectly fine. So this is where they definitely get it right. There is no doubt about it. But yeah, Tony says their card backs are better than their figures. Yes. You can't even argue it. Like, this is like a perfect type of, hey, this is perfect to hang on my wall. Intermystery Super 7 has a full file card, but again, they're not beholden to that 5L. And I've said this before. I know a lot of people think that it's just G.I. Joe. Go look at the Transformers and their retro stuff. You remember on the back of the Transformers, they used to have, basically it was their file card. It would tell like what their specialty was, how strong they were, weapons wise. All this stuff is in 5L on Transformers. And you think that the G.I. Joe stuff looks stupid? That stuff just takes the cake right there. But yeah. Hi, it's me says, oh, I just got a fax from the Hasbro guy assigned to Larry's. He said they won't do any of that. Fax. Faxes are still real. I'm just going to say that. People still use fucking faxes. I absolutely hate them because faxes don't work well on digital lines, and that's all that we have these days because no one wants to invest into them. All right. So now we have this Target exclusive, or at least this is what people are assuming that it is a Target exclusive, and it is a Falcon in a blue and white camouflage, which I actually think the colors really pop. This is what I think is hilarious. So I mentioned it before. If you go ahead and you look at the wild build where everyone thinks he has 6 fingers, he doesn't. He has 5 fingers, but through the trigger guard, you can see what almost looks like the exact same color as his hand. If you take the O-ring figure, that pistol that he comes with has a trigger guard, and if you slid it in his hand, that's how it would look. They even put the stupid grip on the shotgun here, like they did with the original Falcon, because that's the only way that he could hold it. There's no reason to put that grip on, because that grip is not real. That's not how he's supposed to hold it. They just have to do that. So it reinforces what I said about the wild build that everyone thought had 6 fingers. It doesn't. With that said, talking about this, I actually like this color. And I did see that, yes, I did see the picture, the Jean-Claude Van Damme Street Fighter. Yes, it does. I don't have that. I don't think I have that in my slides. Chris McLeod, I guess now it's Baldy's nemesis. I guess that's the best way to put it. Of all people, that's who Baldy decides is his nemesis. Chris McLeod of the Full Force. Yeah. But this is something interesting. Again, how will it look when it actually comes out? Well, that's a whole nother thing. But yeah. So let's see here. All right. So these leaked. Went up on eBay. Wake up. Boom. There they are. And we have the Cobra La Royal Guard. Now, I have made my feelings known about Cobra La It is not something that I ever wanted in classified. It's something that I was stupid. It is one of the reasons why I really don't watch the G.I. Joe card and the G.I. Joe movie. They have found a way to make these figures look really, really cool. And this is just not how I want my G.I. Joes to be. With that said, man, I think this figure looks really, really fucking good. I've said that, I mean, again, I thought Once a Man Cobra Commander was awesome. Pythona looks really good. I think she has her downfalls. I wasn't really happy with Nemesis Immortal, although once I found some stuff out that I had missed out, it's a better figure, but it's still not a great figure. I think this one looks really good. And they're giving you multiple options of how you want it to look, if you're into that. And Baldy says, too scary. When you get this R10, I'll tune back in. Who said I'm going to be looking at this R10? No, I think this does look good. And Chaz says, I hope new shit is coming soon because I don't think we have any more pre-orders after the big lob. Well, there's going to be lots of pre-orders coming this lots of pre-orders coming this month. It is nice that there is a Marvel Legends live stream tomorrow that I completely forgot about. So yeah, it's nice that here we are, G.I. Joe Day. Boom. And then they're like, oh yeah, by the way, fuck you. Sean Jones jumping in saying, yo, Joe bros. All right. So here's the back of it. And again, you can see the different head sculpts, the different masks that he does come with. So this is truly meant to be an army builder. Now, I'll say who's going to be army building at probably a price of $35 to $40. But I've seen people army build that shit that's cost $70 each. Again, guys like me have army build. I can't say army build bought multiples of Operation Monster Force. So why wouldn't we do the same thing with this? But yeah. And Troy Bleaford says 55 because Hasbro has been getting extra greedy. I don't think Hasbro is getting as greedy as people think. Again, there are a lot of reasons why the prices have had to go up. And remember, Hasbro is a large company. They have a lot of people that they have to pay. This is not me saying I'm happy with the price. I know people go, oh, you're just a shill. It's just, again, economics states that, hey, they have a lot of people that they have to pay. And they are a corporation that wants to make money and wants to continue going. I'm thinking, yeah, more around about $41 or so. But yeah, $35 to $40. I forget whatever Nemesis Immortal was, that price point plus $5. I forget what Nemesis Immortal was. But yeah, he should be that plus $5 because that's basically where the bigger figures have gone, or maybe $3 or $4 above that. So Troy Bleaford says Ghost Viper was no way $60. That's the only reason I say 55. Well, Ghost Viper is when they first changed that packaging. So that's when they changed their stuff. So or changed their pricings. So if he was 45, so maybe this would be 50. This might be $50 then. Or maybe some of the higher price, they may not raise as much. But I really don't know. But I would guess that it's going to be in the ballpark of whatever Nemesis Immortal was, especially with all the stuff that they're giving to you. But once again, if you want to army build something, not everyone wants to army build stuff that's $40 or more. But it's unfortunate. I mean, that's just the world we're living in. Everything is expensive now. It sucks. Campbell Rule jumping in here saying, hey there, everyone. How's it going? And then we got Action Figure sold separately. He's jumping in here. Great to have you guys. Please, everyone, hit the like button if you haven't yet. Go also go and vote. How many votes do we have? Look here. We have, let's see, 122 votes. Yet how many likes do we have? Again, still something I don't understand. Only 76 likes. Also, if you're not yet, please make sure you hit subscribe. Very close to hitting the 8,500 mark. I just still can't believe it. Oh, actually, we lost 2. So now we're 5 away. So don't even bother. Don't even bother. I'm actually losing subscribers. All right. Here it is, 191. I cannot believe we're at 191. 191 characters in the boxes. We have more figures than that because there's a bunch of 2-packs and 3-packs. And then there is this asshole. Yes, toy photography is playing with your toys. And if you shoot alone, it's also playing with yourself. I need to read his stuff first before I read it out loud. But anyway, 191. Crazy that we're here. It has been, again, we're going on 6 years now, man. 6 fucking years. And then we're still giving the QR code that leads you straight to hell. And they still have what they consider their file card system. I don't get it. Chaz the Guru says, so if you take photos of your Johnson, are you playing with it? It depends. And 44D2 jumping in and saying, will the Joe team be getting a bug zapper? He just might, or maybe somebody will 3D print one. 44D2, I want to say thank you very much. I don't know if you heard earlier on, if you're just tuning in. I'm gonna probably do this weekend, get to what was sent to me. So thank you very much. That was a nice little surprise for the Dragonfly. Hey, the Dragonfly, that's kind of that's their bug zapper, I guess you could say. But anyway. And then this one popped up. Ninja Force Zartan. I gotta say, I am starting to warm up to Ninja Force Zartan. Not so much as Zartan, but maybe just a guy that's riding a motorcycle. I actually think the design on him, this is going to be a customizer's wet dream. Yeah, I did that one for you, Spec. This is a customizer's wet dream here. I don't really care for Ninja Force. This was after my time. I think they've done a good job making stuff, but he is a punk rocker. I think you're going to be able to do a lot of different things with him. So here's the back of his back of his box here. As we can see, pretty much everything looks like he's going to fit on the person. The only thing that's probably not going to fit on this person are the 2 different bowstrings, because that wouldn't make any logical sense if he had a drawn string. But I do like the look of him for customizing. You want to do the blue oyster bar. We have police officers, so there's all kinds of things. If someone wants to recreate the police academy scene, I think they're going to be able to in a short amount of time. But yeah, and then here we have 192. So once again, I don't know if Black Genghis has updated his stuff yet. If you're not following Black Genghis on Instagram, on his first couple pictures, he has all the classified and their numerical order, along with all of the retro classified figures. So if you are looking there, if you're ever wondering who is this number, who is that number, that is a great reference. If you're doing any type of trivia, go there, because someone may ask you the different packs. So the different numbers. Oh, whew, I've been talking a long time. He is a punk with a disguise. I trained abs yesterday, and it actually hurts to laugh. And Campbell wants to know, does this Zartan count for Bald and Deadly next month? No, if you have a mohawk, you're not bald. You've shaven the sides of your head. That does not make you bald. Because usually if you're balding from the top. So this is someone that literally has to shave. Like if I decided I wanted to do a mohawk and I grew it out, it would be thick here, but then it get thin right about back here. But I gotta say, the more I see this, the more I'm actually enjoying this figure. I don't know where I'm gonna put him in the display, as he obviously doesn't go with Colt Slither, although someone did say he'd make a good roadie. You just have to look and say, hey, you know what? He is not Zartan. But, if you have a good imagination, you can do that. So, and 3-star says, I had a mohawk. I grew the rest out when it started getting patchy. Yeah, I had a mohawk. I never put my whole mohawk up, but I did have one. I want to say you can see the picture. I have a big poof. People don't realize that it was a mohawk because it was down. I want to say it was my 10th grade picture. Or 11th grade picture, because I actually didn't take a 10th grade picture. Chaz says you can still do a reverse mohawk. I could. I still have to shave because it's still thick. It takes me like 10 minutes to shave my fucking head when I do it in the shop. It sucks. I probably spend more money on razors than when I actually had hair and I used hair product and all that other good shit. And Legend Series, Tony jumping in saying, hello, friends. Well, you know what? We've kind of come to the end of this. And you know what? I need a quick break, and you guys need this.
And now back to Cobra News Now.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have received word that our field correspondent, Scrap Iron, is on scene at Mars Industries, and he has interviewed a few eyewitnesses and forwarded those statements over to us as he tries to get closer for a better vantage point on the fire. So let's take a listen to these eyewitness statements and see if we can discover what has happened here tonight.
All right, so I'm out here just ripping this mini ramp that's made by Mars Industries. Don't ask, I don't understand why they sponsored it. But anyway, I hear this huge explosion, and I hear all these people yelling and screaming that this thing's on fire, and they tell me to call 911, so I call 911. We got the ESU police here, and we got the firefighters, and wait a minute, don't you work for Mars Industry and the Iron Grenadiers too?
Oh yeah, that's a wicked fire, eh? Good bonfire for burning the moose on. Kind of reminds me, it reminds me of the one that we did at Justin Bieber every year at Stratford Festival. Just as much smoke, big flame. We do that to keep Sasquatch away. What'd you do yours for, eh?
Yeah, how you doing? I was walking down the street, hanging out, minding my own business. About to sit down on the park bench here and just enjoy my meal here. I got a nice little delicious lunch made by my wife, my lovely wife. She's a great cook. Sometimes not the best, but listen, we all suffice, right? And I'm sitting here on the bench about to open up my lunch box after a long day of working with construction workers. If you haven't noticed, I got this hard hat on, right? And I'm sitting here chilling, and next thing you know, I smell burning. And I go, what is that? And then the explosion, the loud, boom! I'm like, oh, what the hell was that? What's going on? You sound like Aaron Judge cracked a home run. I'm freaking out. I look up, and Mars Industries is on fire. And I'm like, yo, what the hell is this? The building just blew up. It's on fire now. And no one can have any answers. Nobody has any answers. Next thing you know, the fire shows up. The cops show up. Nobody knows what's going on. But damn things for sure, that building blew up. Now listen, I ain't no conspiracy theorist, but I'll tell you this. The owner of that building, he wears a metal helmet. Who's wearing a metal helmet? Just to do business. Something don't smell right. You understand what I'm saying? That building, that was an inside job. You can quote me on that. Thank you for having me on the news. I've never been on the news before. This is fantastic. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. And before we go, I want to shout out some people. My man Shane, my man Woody, my man Mike. I appreciate you all. Take it easy, guys. I appreciate you. I'm on the freaking news right now. This is fantastic.
Well, that was certainly something. So let's see if we can check back in with Scrap Iron and see if he's been able to locate Destro or the Baroness, find out the cause of this fire. Over to you, Scrap Iron. Scrap Iron. Scrapper, you there? Looks like we might be having some technical difficulties, and oh my God. Oh, I'm gonna have to go over there now.
All right, so that's the G.I. Joe. So I will reiterate on Wednesday. Here's my little thing here. It says so that's when Olivia checked off the ruler. So I will write down. I can't show you, but anyway, if it turns out who it is, so I know people go, why I can't just being a dick, to be 100% honest. At this point, I'm just kind of being a dick saying that this is who I heard that it is. I have it written down now. See, it's not written down. And then the other one here, the hidden guy. I'll write this one down too. And you saw what it was on. So they're all written down right here. Hopefully no one comes in my room and sees it. Anyway, it'll be interesting. But like you said, once whatever figure they are revealing, once they show it, it's gonna be all over. It's gonna be all over Facebook. It's gonna be all over Instagram. But either way, it's great to get some new reveals. I feel like it's been forever. We've just been waiting and waiting and waiting. They bombarded us on G.I. Joe Day. I think, what was that, 7 or 8 different figures that they saw. So there we go. And Billy Boy's Toy says, hey, Punk, can you go for another hour? That's about when I have to wake my wife up. I don't know if I'm going to go that long. I really don't want to go that long tonight, to be 100% honest. So anyway, this next part of the show, again, this is the topic, and we always have this running. Yes, that is. I think we're going to do a special missions starting at 9. So I think we're doing special missions on that at 9. So that'll be fun. I'm letting Baldy know right now. So Baldy, Tony, special missions, 9 p.m. on Wednesday after that's revealed. Okay. So the topic of how do you play with your toys is what is considered playing with your toys. This is one of those things I know we've gone back and forth about. We've discussed this. Ed absolutely loves whenever he sees me take a picture outside, because I don't like to get my action figures dirty, because I have action figures. I have G.I. Joe Real American Hero figures with dirt from 40 plus years ago. I hate it. All right. It doesn't come off, and I don't have a problem taking figures outside. It is a pain in the ass because you worry about losing accessories and things like that. Legend Series says the answer to the topic is yes. You definitely play with your toys, and it's glorious. And again, I kind of look at it that way too. I'm not going to talk. This is me patting myself on the back for me doing my photography. That's all this is. This is me patting myself on the back going, look, I took pictures. So kind of what I did was, we see guys, and we know there are people that still actually play with their toys. I lost that want a long time ago. Getting on and again, I remember playing with my son, and it's not the same. Where you lose that. It seems fun. I always love setting stuff up, even as a kid. I spent 8 hours creating bases and all that other stuff like that. But what ends up happening is you destroy everything in like a half hour. And playing with your son when they don't understand, and you're like, you can't do that. You have these weird rules. And again, I think a lot of people have seen some of the videos. Olivia and I going over to the hill and racing the Vamp and the Stinger. I guess that would be considered playing with your toys, right? We've gone and we've done the four-wheelers and we raced the four-wheelers. They don't move nearly as well as the Vamp. I have not tried the All Striker. Now the All Striker does have the wheels. It does actually have steering, but they lock into place. So that would be interesting. I could probably do that one. I don't think I would roll a $350 or $350 rumbler down the hill. I would be scared to do the ramen van too, which thank you to Ed, I do have one now. The stew for lunch, yes. Yes. Punk in his Anakin mode. I hate dirt, it gets everywhere. That's pretty much how I feel. 3 stars says, I still have mud in the fender of my Vamp. I missed when I cleaned it off. Yeah. Yes. Now, as a kid, I felt completely different. All right. It's completely different about, going out in the dirt. That really didn't bother me because you've rinsed it off and you thought that it was clean, but you didn't realize it. Again, 40 years later, you're like, holy shit. But stuff like this. So these are all my pictures. Yes, this is where I pat myself on the back. I went through and I was looking at the different pictures that I'd done, right? And again, the stuff like this, I mean, does someone consider this, kind of playing with your toys? Here is, the Saw Viper, which I lost my Saw Viper, or a Saw Viper. I have 2 of them. I couldn't figure out where it was. And I finally, going through these pictures, I was able to figure out where I had him at. Now, I do this here. There's a twofold on this one. So, this is using, one of the backdrops that I got from Action Figures sold separately. And here's the Saw Viper. Now, this is one of the accessory packs for Operation Monster Force. Now, all the people, like, I don't know, we'll say Darren and Krusty Old Crow, I want you to lose your shit and tell Operation Monster Force and Gridiron how stupid it is that someone would take a big machine gun and put a chainsaw underneath it, because that doesn't really exist in real life. All right, all of you that lost your shit on it, you guys got to tell this company the same thing. And quickly, look at this. Jersey Ed became a YouTube member, so you know what you're going to get. You get the
Welcome to the Creamery.
And I should also mention, this I meant to mention earlier, this Friday, Punk's Pit for all the channel members. So if you're a channel member, 10 p.m., we will be doing Punk's Pit, unless if I decide to change my mind. The Legend series says, I run around my front and backyard all the time filming my toys. My neighbors look at me like I'm crazy, but I have a blast, and the final image is always make it worth it. No, I agree. Like, I have a lot of time. I have a lot of fun going out and filming stuff. I'll talk about it. It's actually the last pictures here. So this one here, this is me trying to recreate a comic cover. And I was very proud of this. No one else was proud because no one really liked it. I was very proud of this. Because now I kind of did these comic covers. I do them every now and then. And obviously I had Olivia kind of create the Punk with Toys and the G.I. Joe. And then I did the whole, I looked at, you remember the old grunt, I like doing that. But with this picture here, I'm looking at the cover and I'm like, how can I do the light? I don't have lighting like other people. So I literally took this masking tape that I had to buy for Olivia to do her project. And I cut a hole in a piece of paper, and then I used a masking tape to tape the paper onto the masking tape roll. And then I was able to finally get the light. But the problem is that I can't take the picture and hold the light. So I had to have Olivia come down hold the light while I took the picture. But I was very proud of myself that I was able to figure out how to make it work. But once again, this is, again, other lighting, and not lighting, again, other stuff that I'm trying to add stuff. I don't use AI. I don't really know how to use the AI to add stuff. And again, I think when you start adjusting some of the stuff and using some AI in the back, it's the AI where shit moves around. I think you use knock knock. There's Tony right there. I'm gonna knock Tony in a second when I see him at Joe Fest for using knock knock. But yeah. And I did just highlight it. Jersey Ed with a $5 super chat.
Here comes the money. Here we go. Money talk. Here comes the money.
I said I had to renew after a passing in the family, but I've been here. Larry really got me into classified. Well, I apologize, and you're welcome. I apologize, and you're welcome. JLS Comics, and that's cool. Thank you very much. Again, so this was like, again, I look at this as like, I do consider this playing. Now, I'm not on the floor. I'm not, I get aggravated because everything's set up so when I have to move stuff, all these pictures, like these figures are almost always in a display somewhere, as you can see all the shit behind me. So when I move stuff around, it is a pain in the ass. And then this one here. Now, if anyone is wondering, was this inspired by The Empire Strikes Back? The answer is absolutely yes. I bought, first off, I bought one snake armor because I was able to get it. Sergeant Red's got it. He gave it to me at cost because I ordered some stuff from Pulse for him and gave it to him at cost. So he gave me one at cost because mine got canceled. And then when they went up, I ordered 2 more. I specifically ordered 2 so I could have 2 on either side of my 3D printed Cobra Commander throne as they sit there, whether they're guards or statues or whatever. I was looking at the snow. I looked at this and I was like, you know what? It looks like AT-ATs walking. Now, what you may not realize is what looks like a white background is actually the hill on the hill in my backyard going up just a little bit. But it actually looks like there's a level, and then it looks like it's kind of like all not fogged out, but all cloudy and everything. So it actually came out absolutely perfect. And again, if you don't hear the Empire Strikes music in the background, then you've either never seen Empire Strikes Back or you just didn't get what I was going for. But yeah. And I think I don't know how to do anything else. Like, I struggle with lighting. I know there's a lot of tutorials. Matthew has sent me tutorials with lighting. I suck at it. So I feel the need. I need to go out, and when I do stuff with natural lighting, it works out better for me. A tripwire, you're the reason why I got the other 2, just so you know. The other tripwire said, hey, those are back up in stock. That is how I got them. So that is, yeah. Yes, I bought one, like I said, from Sergeant Red's, and then they went back in stock, so I ordered 2. And this is one of those ones where I have ideas. I want to make the Hulk fighting multiple snake armors, and you'll actually see that later on. But this is one of those things where, is this considered playing? I am going out. I think Ed fell asleep already because he hasn't chimed in. The fact that, it was fucking cold out. So these are easier to do because they're so big, they're supposed to sink into the snow a little bit, where the figures I struggled with because this was all powder at one time. You can see this is where I was taking all my pictures. That's why it's beat up. But again, I would consider this going out and playing with. And again, not everyone will. Not everyone will feel the exact same way. And that's why I really put the poll up, where I said, looking at the poll right now, 60% said hell yes, or 68%. 16 said kind of. 5% said nope, it needs to be muddy. And then 11 said no, you have to get on the ground and play with them. And I do kind of understand that if that's how you feel with playing with toys. All right. I'm just admiring your work. You're just happy that I went outside with shit. So this is, again, if you're wondering, like anyone that said, they like what's behind me, this is literally the picture. I just took it. I hate that I hate that I have the sound in the back, like the sound pads on the background. I wish the cardboard cutouts went up all the way. This thing has been so much fun. There's a lot of people that were like, oh, I kind of want to order this. This Sentinel works so good for 3.75, 4-inch, and 1/12 scale. I absolutely love this. But yeah, so this is one of those things where I spend this time. I pose the stuff just like I did as a kid before I destroy it. But obviously, I'm never really going to play so much with it. But I took this shot. I'm like, all right, well, I feel like we're in the mode of kind of playing with stuff. And here is the most expensive vehicle that got stuck in transit and never got anywhere. Was this Punisher firing his the Gatling gun off the top of the Mezco Rumbler. So Dan Olton says, how is it not playing? You are setting up a scene, and if it is an action, it is exactly the same as playing. No, and again, that's just a question. It's like, hey, listen. I'm gonna let you guys on a secret. I do 47 live streams a year. You got to come up with some topics. But I know not everyone would actually feel this way. I really do. I feel like not everyone would feel this way. And that's kind of why I asked the poll. The poll also it's good for seeing how many people actually tuned in and watched. You get a more accurate reading when it comes to that. Although there's 87 likes now, so you ask people to like and they actually will. But no, it's again, you get the bullet belt. I gotta say, I like this Rumbler, just so you guys know. And it looks like there's a Desert Rumbler coming. I don't think I'll be buying it. And 3-star says, hey, there's Tony again. Someone must have made a crack about his wife's cooking. I will have you know that I did this picture before this guy had become Tony. Yes, like and unsubscribe. That's right. As I'm losing subscribers because they're like, dude, this guy is like so full of himself. And I guess like I might be, but it is my own channel. I absolutely love this picture. This is one of those things where for me, I'm learning about when I started like taking pictures, I wanted to get everything in. I'm like, I set up this whole thing and I didn't understand about specific things being blurred out. And again, I definitely feel hey, on Mondays, it is all about me. I'm not going to lie. I remember don't you remember a Toy Kind of Mood, Travis Moody said, I'm just, I'm just I'm all about myself and, that's just who I am. Well, again, that's what I am. I'm all about myself and, I'm not a team player, I guess. But anyway, so I am learning about the focusing. And again, a lot of it is thanks to Matthew. Like Matthew's pointed a lot of stuff out. I'll ask Matthew I'll ask them in the mods chat, like, hey, how does this picture look? And then Matthew will completely just destroy it and tell me everything that's wrong about it. And it's like, yeah, that. Yes, I already announced that. It is the second. It is right. It is the second Friday of the month, correct? So yes. I almost did it last month, or I almost did it last week, but I was like, nope, I'm gonna wait. So this one here was another one. Again, I spent the time in my front yard, and Tony, I have a feeling, and when I say Tony, I'm referring to this time. Yes. Legend series. Yes, I'm out in my front yard posing these figures, and I can see these parents and adults across the street looking at me like, the fuck is this guy doing? Are those toys? You can also see that the heat has started to warp some of the gridiron guns. Well, this gridiron gun at least, because they put too much stress on it. Ed says, yeah, natural lighting is so much better for action figures. Yeah, I struggle with the lighting. That's why I am so in awe with stuff like what Emerald Knight does. Again, his stuff is amazing. We've discussed it. Leanne, what she does. Plastic Battles does awesome stuff. I really want to get one of those, like the fog makers. So, hey, they are minding their own. They don't say anything, Dan, but I can hear the judgment in their eyes. I had a kid walk by. Actually, I'll mention it when I get there. I'll mention it when I get to the picture because I actually have it in there. So like here, this is actually, I get like, this is totally playing because I was actually taking video of the Mauler and making it go over over my grass. And I thought this shot just like, if you quickly looked at this shot, like you might think that this is actually a tank in some high grass. I thought this came out perfect. The ground is kind of on an angle, but I was actually for sure playing with this because about once a year, maybe twice a year, I can't do it with my Mobat because unfortunately the battery cover does not like to stay on it, but the Mauler, which is better anyway. I like to pop in those 4C batteries and see about it plowing over some stuff. And I have a lot of fun with it. So this is definitely playing with it. This is one of those things where you look at everything and you make sure that everything comes back because this thing is complete. The only thing that I'm missing is the mic on heavy duty or heavy metal. Heavy metal, right? But this is all the stuff that I consider this, playing around. So this kind of goes back to what I was talking about. This is what I go back to talking about where I wanted at least three snake armors to have the Hulk fighting it. Now, in this series of pictures that I did, you do see the Hulk, like I think ripping it open. I didn't get around to doing all three because it definitely takes a lot of space, which these tables don't have nearly as much space as one might think. Tony's Fake saying good night, Punk and chat fam. Crashing out early and I'm still not feeling well. Hope to see you all tomorrow on Circle of Jerks. Great picks. Thank you very much. And again, if you're wondering like why you're showing your own pics, well, it's my own channel, and I'm patting myself on the back. Um, and I know before, when people say it must be nice, and I know people say this, like, must be nice to be able to buy this stuff. It is. And I worked really hard for it. And you look at someone like Woody who buys way more stuff than I do, and this is kind of going off track. Never judge what someone can afford or what they buy. Also, I'll tell you this: don't ever try and keep up with the Joneses because someone else can buy something. Don't put yourself in a position. And I feel like a lot of toy collectors do this. I've talked about this before. Don't ever put yourself in a position because you see other people doing it and you feel you need to also. No, you're absolutely right. Perceived velocity say, why wouldn't you show your own pictures? First off, I take more shit in my chat on my own than probably any other toy tuber. And I know I got brought up before with like Joe Fest, and they're like, why are you in all these pictures? Because they're my pictures from Joe Fest. I don't go around taking pictures of random people. So I'm pretty much in all of the pictures. So this one here, this is the Mezco Rumbler. Now it has lights on the inside. I actually I didn't notice the shadows until I was actually going through and just picking out pictures yesterday to throw in here. But once again, going back to the playing aspect, this is where I looked at the Rumbler. If I remember correctly, I actually took off the Gatling gun to make it look like more just an armored vehicle that who I would see as the police officers of G.I. Joe were showing up. So the playing aspect is, putting, these figures here all together in some sort of squad. And 3-Star says taking pictures of toys is 100% playing with them for adults. And that's it. Like, you spend all this time setting them up. It's like, why? Like, we have the ability to document things that we're doing, whether it be on video and putting them on shorts on YouTube, or creating YouTube videos, or taking pictures and putting them on Instagram. This is one of those things where I absolutely, and I love doing this type of shit. And Joe Fan quickly says, speaking of which, Punk, can you send that picture of me and you by chance? I forgot to ask. Oh yeah, I have to scroll through again, but yeah, I can get that to you. That's not a problem. Don't ask me to do it tonight though, but remind me sometime. I'll get it to you. If not, you can ask me on Thursday. But so this was kind of like what I was doing. Again, I'm playing, and sometimes I don't do the greatest photography. So sometimes what I try and do is I try and tell a story, so it gives people a reason to go to the carousel and click through each and every single one of them. And Cobra Commander says doing real photography with toys is serious business. I'm not playing. No, it does. I mean, photography is, it's in so many different aspects. Now this I absolutely loved. To all the people that absolutely hate the Off Striker, I fucking love it, dude. I really like it. So this is where one of those things. Now I don't have an issue with the Vamp not having wheels that turn. It doesn't serve a huge purpose, except for some photography angles. And I spent a lot of time getting these figures into place. I will say this: I have swapped out the really, really, really shitty machine gun for the All Striker with a Top Fun Retro Toys one. So now the rock and roll inside of it is actually using that. But this one here, I actually had him hanging out with his M60 firing it. And I like this. Yeah, and Billy Boy says, I know a lot of people hate the All Striker, but I like it. I mean, yeah. And again, I don't have a problem with the Vamp not having, wheels that turn. But I will say this, for this angle, I mean it, and I learned about angles. Like that was something that my son came in and he's like, try angling it, like try turning the camera a little bit, giving it some sort of angle to it. And so you'll see a lot of my pictures now are on an angle. And it gives you more, it gives you a feel that like shit's actually happening. And with this here, again, you see now a couple of these blasts where they're getting shot at. This was part of a super action set that I bought off Amazon a few years ago. I use a little bit of sticky tack and I just stick it right to wherever. But I really enjoyed doing this. And here you can see, again, I have rock and roll hanging out with his M60. You can see I just have the other one just kind of sitting there. And if you didn't know, yes, the blast effects from Scrap Iron and everyone else, they fit perfectly in that. Although they don't fit with Zap, which is very disappointing. Yes, angles convey motion. That's what I was trying to say. You said it much better than what I could think. And Cobra Commander says turning wheels on the All Striker is really important than on the other vehicle. Yeah, I think you're right too, because they are so exposed. Because the wheels are so exposed where you can see everything, where the Stinger and the Vamp, they're hidden. And it would be nice if they did, but I also like the aspect of being able to see the actual engine. Again, you go and you look at the Rumbler, the Mezco Rumbler, which cost me $350 after tax and shipping and everything. It has an engine, but it literally pops up about an inch, maybe 2 inches, and you can barely see in it, and it's all black. So even if you want to take it out and paint it, I think you'd have to completely disassemble it, which I painted a Stinger engine by just popping it out. It was really easy. So yeah, but again, back to what I was saying, I took the time and I bought this cheap, grass from the dollar store for like $10. If you're going to do that, go buy the stuff, spend a little bit more money at Home Depot or Lowe's because it won't flake as much and it's not as prickly. Yes. I know you can remove the back here. See, the removable engine on the original All Striker, I don't believe it was meant to be removable because it plugged in. It just was removable. So dog pee mats make great grass. How? And I'm asking seriously because they're blue on one side and white on the other side. Or is there like a different dog pee mat that you're talking about? I mean, and I'm being 100% honest with that. Destro swapped a Hellcat engine into my Stinger. Well, that's what I did with the Hemi. I did that picture for 3-star or for Tuco Viper. Well, okay, so I'm thinking of the blue and the white one. They're also, but I'm assuming whatever you're getting or whatever you're talking about, it's to simulate grass. I don't think I've ever seen those, but I'm definitely going to look into that because this one here, it leaves shit all over. Hey, you know what? Hey, I don't kink chain Cobra Commander. If that's what Matthew is into, and Hi It's Me says blue ones are pee pads. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Anyway, okay, so where do I get gravel style mat? Okay, so what you're talking about is, I don't see if you can see it quickly here, is this. So what that actually is, it's a picture of gravel that I printed up on a Canon plotter on this paper called Peel and Stick. I can actually peel this off and then move it elsewhere, and it won't rip, it won't tear. If it sticks together, it's a pain in the ass. But this is actually a picture of of cement, but when it's blown up, it's actually pretty pixelated, but it gives an actual feel of concrete. So that's just stuff that I print up at work. Actually, this is it right here. So this stuff here peels. So it peels and it just sticks, but it leaves no adhesive. And I can put it out, I can move it around all over. That's where if you look at the GI Joe room, if you go look at my GI Joe room, you will see all the posters. That's all peel and stick. So it's a specific type of proprietary paper for Canon. And then I just print it up at work because we have some. But yeah, it's not actual mats. It's just this paper. So Booster says, get a roll of cork board and paint it. That's what I use. It makes perfect asphalt or gravel. Yeah, you know what? That actually probably would work because the cork board is it has all the texture on it. So yeah, that's actually a pretty good one. I never thought about that. Carlos says, on this week's A Punk with Pops, we discussed the difference of quality P-pads. Well, it was either that or 90210 talk, and no one wants to talk about 90210. Yeah, you all seem to know about Brenda, Kelly, Donna. Come on. All right. So this one here, I like the angle. I thought I actually got some pretty good lighting on here. And once again, if you have a chance to get if you go to Joe Fest, you have a chance to get any of action figures sold separately, backdrops, do it. They're actually really, really, they're so good. I have so much fun with them. I need more than 4. As a matter of fact, you only ever see me use 3 because the other one is sitting right here with shit on top of it. But I really need to get that one because it's more basic. It's more of a basic brick, where the other ones are. This one's pretty big too. So yeah. Hi, it's me says, let's talk how many times they used the bathroom on 90210. Well, they are in the bathroom a lot because the bathroom connects Brenda's and Brendan's rooms. All right. So here was I went overboard with the police officers. I bought 8 of them. I don't regret it. And if the only thing I do is this Spider-Man picture, I don't care what you say. Maximum Spider-Man is a great fucking figure. If you like Spider-Man and you don't have it, you say, I won't spend $50 or $60 or whatever it costs now, but you play with your toys like this, you're missing out. You are definitely missing out. But this here, again, different things. I got this little shopping cart at Walgreens like 2 Christmases ago. all this other stuff here is actually from action figures sold separately. And I set all this stuff up, and again, the police officers are, I have 8 of them, and having 8 cops surrounding Spider-Man, because again, they don't know that he's the good guy or he's a vigilante or they're worried about him. It made spending way too much money on fucking police officers. Way too much spending on police officers. All worth it. Now I have them actually surrounding Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. But yeah, I look at this and I spend all this time kind of setting it up, and it really does take me back to when I was a kid. And like I said, I would spend hours upon hours setting up a GI Joe base, a Cobra base. And I've told this before. I used to take string, and I would put string across stuff, and I would say, and I would tape it and say that's the laser wire, so people can't just fly through it. It also was hard for me to step over it because I was short. But yeah. And Highest Me says, so Spider-Man broke up a group of officers drinking in an alley. Possibly. I need some. I do need some donuts for sure. And then here we go back to another comic cover. I enjoy doing the comic covers. I know a lot of people do, but I feel like the one thing that I do that other people don't, or that at least I haven't seen, is I like to put the stamp on it with the whole like a punk with toys that looks like the GI Joe logo. With the number I put, again, I want to do I'd like to do like one every month, and I don't just do GI Joe. I've done a couple other ones, and if you look at this comic cover, you'll see that a punk with toys is where the barcode actually was. So I actually put that where the barcode was, and I'm sure Matthew can probably speak to this. Now, these are the Mezco figures. Matthew and some of these other guys can probably speak to this. It is very difficult to get action figures, especially ones holding swords, but to get them always looking at a specific character, because at least for me, when you're doing the photography, you can have a figure looking directly at another character, but when you take a picture of it, it doesn't look anything like they're looking at it. Like they look like they're looking off into space, and you're like, shit, dude, what? And you have to just kind of adjust it. So I really did enjoy doing like this. And again, this was to me just like, I can't get on the ground anymore and play. Like that's not the imagination that I have, but I feel like doing stuff like this, it's replaced all of that. This was the Juggernaut. I feel like there's supposed to be more. I think I got the wrong picture, but he's smashing the Captain America shield, which I probably would have got like a whole bunch of dislikes, just like I did with the short. And look, you can actually see the 127 in the back, the G.I. Joe. So Toy Optic says folding tables are your friends, much nicer on your back. And Matthew says angles, man, gotta check the angles in 3D, not just 2D. Yeah, no, and that's the whole thing. And I think one of the most frustrating things when doing photography, and again, these are things that I'm learning, is how much time you'll sit there before you snap the picture, and it's like, it's not film. I can just delete the pictures. But yeah, it's one of those weird things. Let's see here. It says, right. Why is it on the ground or nothing for Punk? I'm not sure what you mean. I'm confused here. Mendoza says, I run a CSI reenactment from beginning to end when I do photo setup with sound effects. Well, that's interesting. And you've been doing some really nice photography. I give you use a little bit too much AI, which really pisses me off. But your photography is nice. And that's the AI, like, motherfucker, stop doing AI. Stop using AI. I think I'm almost done with the pictures here. Okay. So if you guys don't know, I have a USS flag. It's my childhood flag. Hi, it's me. Okay. It says you can play on a table. You keep saying you can't get on the ground and okay. All right. I see what you're saying. All right. But the ground, there's so much more. And again, I guess when I think about that, I think about playing with the O-rings. You cannot play on a table with all those O-ring vehicles because eventually one is going to roll off and break. I do. I have a flag. Yes. So this here, again, I know everyone wants to see, and this actually came up because of, it might have been because of Oz, or no, it was. I think it was 3-star, and everyone wants to see when the Mythic Legions Dragon comes out. They want to see it on a flag. I don't know how many other people have a flag. Everyone knows that I have. I know a couple of people that are getting the dragon, and they're like, we need to figure something out. And it was actually 3-star that said, like, he was like, man, he goes, you've been off for like all these days, and you haven't even put that, the Sentinel on the flag. And I was like, yep, let's fucking go. If you want, again, if you want to hear the flag story, go watch my my classic review on the flag. I tell it there. But here again, this Sentinel was so much fun. Setting up O-ring figures is not easy when you're not using stands. I've made it perfectly clear, especially if you're going to do photography, dude. Seeing a stand in any type of photography is just awful. I should link it. I should. Do you want me to record the story and then after the end of every video, I just have it embedded in. Why I decided to show the Sky Striker shooting at his ass, I don't know, but I did. Stu for lunch here says, good night, folks. I'm trying something new tonight and going to bed before my time midnight. See you at the doggy pet store. Yeah. So Toy Optics says, I went through hell setting up the Operation Recall figures, but I only had to use a stand once, and you can't see it. But the amount of times I cussed up a storm when they'd fall over. And we all know the domino effect. We all know the domino effect when we knock over figures. I can clearly say when the O-rings go, motherfucker. And I don't have the Operation Recall ones yet, spec. I just know that the Real American Hero ones, because they're not soft plastic, they make a specific fucking noise that, yeah, you've knocked them over. IHB says you can use stands if you're going to live field every image. That made me laugh. All right, so this was another one. I had this idea. The idea was really to get this log or 2x4 or whatever it is to be burning so I could take pictures. The problem is by this time it was pretty waterlogged from the snow. So this picture had to be taken pretty fucking quickly. And that's why there's no more angles. That is real fire behind it. If that is not AI, that is real fire behind it. So I had this idea of, obviously this is him again. This is in my mind, me playing with it, him escaping from that Canadian, the Canadian site that he was at. And there's one wolf that's close to him. There's two in the back. That's why you don't see the angry face. They're basically looking. He's busted out. He started a fire. But yeah, I will say this. I was a little worried at how close the one wolf was to the fire. The way that I looked at it was, I do have two gray wolves, but only one white one. So I will definitely make sure that he's not that close. But I had a lot of fun with this one. This was cold as shit out. He says, and that's how Wolverine signed his ass. Yeah. I think I'm almost done, guys. But again, to me, this was going outside in the snow. I don't have boots either. I gotta get boots for next year. That's on the agenda, so I can stay out in the cold a little bit longer. This was going out. If you're ever gonna set up figures in the snow, this is gonna be. This is what I'm gonna suggest. This is my suggestion to you. Try and pose them in the house the best as possible, where it's warm, and then just kind of make your little tweaks. This way, it's pretty much going to be a little bit quicker. You don't have to worry about it. Don't have to worry about them snapping, freezing, and you're out in the cold less time than you want to be. So, but I really looked at this as kind of playing around. And again, it just want, I just wonder, like, do people consider this playing? And I think, at least for me, I know I consider this playing. I wish I had the moon boots from the 80s. My feet were fucking cold. This here, so this water in the back, that's actually water, not a sky. But it looks like a sky, so it actually works out a little bit better, to be 100% honest. Once again, this was water that I just printed up on a Canon, and it was on this peel and stick, and I slapped it onto some boxes that I cut off, and it just kind of sat on there. I had great ideas for this photo shoot as I set everything up, but everything looked just like it was something printed other than this picture. I really thought this picture came out looking pretty damn good. But again, that looks more like it's the sky rather than the water. But I just went with it, and the angle made it look like it was actually moving. So Tripwire is saying I have something, everyone. Ben's sick. You've been sick for quite some time, so yeah, get better, man. Definitely get better. So hi, it's me. Says, yeah, get some boots and maybe some other clothes too. Oh wait, that's you. Wait, that's not you. It's Weapon X. I'm not that hairy. Spec, on the other hand, we can see the hair usually protruding out of his shirt and shit. So, this one I really, again, out in the cold. I tried taking as many pictures out in the cold, in the snow, not in the cold. Who cares about the cold? Out in the snow as possible. And this is like in front of my house, and I thought it really looked. I liked the way the snow kind of built up, and the little tree is something that I bought off Amazon, or the little log. I bought like a 12 pack for like $10 or something, and I wanted to use a Sergeant Rock figure, but he has short sleeves. And to me, I thought like this was perfect. And I started thinking back to like some of these these World War II, movies that you would see, and that these guys are sitting there and they were fighting, in the cold through Christmas and shit. And that was kind of the idea here. This World War II Wolverine is awesome. And 44D2 says dancing in army green. This figure is awesome. I mean, again, you can use it with classified if you want for Jejo. He's just a really good figure. And again, you take out that he's Wolverine, and you have this World War II guy who, either he's the last, the last of his squad. The helmet is actually his head, but I had to turn the angle to make it so you couldn't see his face or anything protruding, so it just looked like his helmet was sitting on the log. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. And again, when I was out there doing this, all I was thinking, and the idea was like all these World War II movies, when you see them in the snow, or any type of military movie from that era. And he fit perfect. They did a wonderful job with this figure. So, and then I like to lots of Wolverine stuff. This figure is better, and he's on clearance right now. I saw him for like $17, and I've seen people get him even cheaper at Walmart right now. I was like, hey, look, I got a Wolverine with an actual jacket on, and I have the wolves that are just sitting there. And I actually had 4 wolves surrounding him, using the Mezco wolf. But I really enjoyed this. And it was actually snowing at the time. It's hard to get snowing pictures. Every time it snowed, I tried getting out there, but it never seemed to do what I wanted it to. But yeah. So. And then, so this one here, this is obviously recent. I just like this one because it looks like her hair is actually flowing as she's looking down at Zap. And if you actually saw the pictures, because this was from the pictures that I did. I always do a couple pictures when I do a review. She'd already killed the screaming crazy leg. So Toy Optics saying need black light to see snow, rain, fog. Oh, okay. I'll have to talk to you about that one. The thing is, we don't get a lot of snow. Like, we're not like, Action Figs Ed here, where he's in Buffalo. Like, we got snow, and like we haven't got a lot of snow. So, yeah, the shutter speed is what I kind of figured, and the iPhone only does so much. I'm not sure about the 17 if it has a faster shutter speed or not, because that's what I got now. I think it's still the exact same, but it was just out while I was going. It was snowing. I was like, hey, let's see. It wasn't crazy. Oh my God, I'm about done talking. Yeah, so much for not going 3 hours, right? And then even the O-ring. Like, again, this was like going back to your childhood, right? You got the O-ring, you're playing with it. If you are one, he is literally standing. This is the stuff that kills me, because there is no stand involved here. And this is what I talked about when learning to focus. that Duke is out of focus, but Ramar or whatever his name is, he's in focus, and he's about to crush Duke with this pallet. And I had a lot of fun. This one I actually did, if I remember correctly, I did a sequence of different pictures. Because like I said, my photography is not great. So if people are going to invest in watching it, sometimes I like to, give sequences of actually what's happening. I don't usually put them in a short. That never seems to really work for me. I want to work on that though. So, and then some of these pictures I took, and when I went through them again, I started realizing how much I really liked how some of them came out. The Robo Skull is badass. Robo Skull is badass. To anyone that asks, should I buy one? If Tripwire was still here, he would tell you I convinced him into buying one. I actually like the regular Robo Skull more than the special edition. But I got to say, with the yellow here, it really, really pops. Here he is checking out his mini guns. So I had a lot of fun with this, and the pictures actually came out better. But this, to me, was really playing. Anytime you get like the smaller figures, I just go back to, again, you're setting a guy up. This is, Radnam or Random Diorama, some of the stuff that he did. I haven't heard anyone complain, and Matthew, I think you're with me. I haven't heard anyone complain that actually spent the $250 to get this. And oddly enough, he's not selling any of his for $110 or anything. It's not like he's giving away in blind boxes or anything. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, I had, like, to me, this was playing and like setting stuff up. This really took me back to being a child when I would spend all this time and set stuff up and go through all of this. So, and I think we're coming towards the end here. So this was the grass. This was in front of my house. I told you I absolutely love the Maximum Hulk. I've had so much fun with it. Is it the best figure that I bought last year? No. Is it the most fun? Probably. And this is an older Wolverine that I had. And when you're looking at grass that's, again, the grass isn't that high. It looks super high. It's actually pretty easy to stand these figures. And this was me just sitting out in the front of my house, looking like a fool. And, Wolverine is actually charging towards the vamp. And I didn't want to throw all of them, but I was really, like, this was playing and just kind of setting everything up. And Toy Optic says, some men need to go outside and touch grass. Wolverine just smells it. And this next picture, I would not have really thought too much of it, but the blades of grass, his grin, and then the fact that you can see that there's something going on in the background, and everything, like the house, the bricks, the stand, you can't see it, but you can see that there is something going on back there. You can see Hulk's hand. You can see the dragonfly. So, oh my God. It's tough to wipe it's tough to wipe with the claws out. I agree. But anyway, and this is actually from last year. If you're going to take out your hiss, you got to make sure you're not on soft snow, because the battery is right on the bottom and you have to dry it pretty quickly. I was trying to, do you remember the comic cover with out back, hiding underneath. There's a ledge in the snow and he's freezing. That was the idea that I was going for. This is snow job. He's hiding right there. This hiss is pulled over and it's shining the light. This one I actually let sit out as it darkened because I wanted to get the dark as much as possible. But I really enjoyed this, and the actual lights around it actually did a pretty good job of just kind of like highlighting that he's not just like they're just not out in like the woods or anything. So thank you. And again, I do thousands of pictures, I feel, and sometimes I just get lucky. And again, I wasn't trying to recreate that cover, but that was the inspiration for this, was him hiding underneath it. And to me, it was looking at the comic cover and using the hiss hanging over as that ledge and him underneath it. Now, obviously, Snow Job is more prepared for the snow than what Outback would be. I just like this one. Well, I don't have it right here. These are the lights that somebody sent me that are that someone 3D printed, and they go on this NECA street scene. So every now and then, I would turn off all the lights in this room and only use those lights, and they really, really work. And being able to use the bat damaged head and have his axe, and this actually goes back to the idea of this came from I remember It's Chad somebody had taken a picture and sent it to him because he said he liked the picture. So I think they sent him, and they were able to use barbecue like in this attack mode, but with no guns, just the axes that he came with. And that was like the inspiration, was that picture that I remember Chad having. And I thought this actually works perfect, where he's like stepping out of the way of the gun and smashing that helmet. But I thought the lighting, this lighting is perfect for any pictures that I ever take. It has made so many of my pictures look good when I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. This was the one where Matthew completely broke it down, told me, yeah, you could do this better, that better. So I don't understand still how to point the lights. So we all have these things here. These are these little lights that I have. I actually bought them off Amazon so I could throw in the engine in the engines of the HasLab Sky Striker, and it makes them glow. This is one of those where I was able to place them underneath it, and everything worked other than obviously the flamethrower, and I didn't know how to really make it. And Matthew talked about how you can get certain angles and pinpoint it and highlight it. But yeah. And look, Toy Optics says fire gives off lots of ambient light. Yeah. But yeah, that's one of those. I liked it. I thought I did a decent job. And Matthew told me all the things I did wrong. He'll tell me what I do right too, but then he tells me and Ed was like, damn, Matthew. I was like, thanks. This was before I really started doing the angles. And I just like the Saw Viper and the idea of this Cobra Trooper opening the gate for a Stinger that was coming in at the time. Thank you to Plastic Fantastic, who prints up these awesome fences. I feel like anyone that does a 3D printing should be able to, but he seems to be the only one that actually does it. But yeah. So this was going to a park and watching a shit ton of people walk by me going, what is this guy doing? I know Ed really wanted this Footloose because he said, hey, this reminds me of like almost exactly what I wore when I was serving in the Army. And this gives me, again, I think everyone looks at Footloose and it gives you that Vietnam era look. Well, this is Junkyard Joe from Mezco. And again, he was in Vietnam, didn't know that he was a robot. I know absolutely nothing about Junkyard Joe, but I saw this and I was like, that is such a cool fucking figure. And then when Footloose came, I'm just like, they just worked together. So I went out with him, with these two there. I had another guy. I didn't put any in the picture. I can't forget who the third person was. But they just looked so good together. And so I did this here. And again, this was sitting at the park. So I don't know if Legend Series is still watching. This was just sitting there. And people are walking by and they're just kind of looking at me. And I'm like, I like the big rock. And then this one here, I just get them kind of like they're chatting with each other. I got Footloose is sitting there drinking. Their weapons are laid down. I try like crossing. But again, like this was to me just like fucking, sitting out at the park, like Tony said, just you're kind of playing with your own, or Matthew, you're just kind of playing with your fucking figures all by yourself, man. I mean, how many times did you go as a kid somewhere and you just play it all by yourself? But yeah, and Pop Blender jumping in here, a member for 26 months. So you get the
fucking Phil Collins.
Poor Phil Collins. Mendoza, that Junkyard Joe, who I know nothing. And when I started looking into the lore of them, I'm like, you know what? Can I get the rest of the figures? Mesco, can you do some other ones? It's such a fun figure. Like it really is. Yeah, it's one of those ones. It's a really good figure. So Pop Blender saying, hey, Punk in chat, how is everybody? Hope you all had a great weekend. Hey, as good as it can have. I mean, better than the Patriots. All right, so this is the last picture. So this one here, I was literally on the phone with Woody 222 while I was taking this while I was doing this. Literally starting to sweat my balls off. This was total. This is natural light, and I kept looking at this Maximum Hulk, and I'm like, God, I went out with the Dragonfly. And then I looked at that. I just looked at that Rattler, and I'm like, I can have him like breaking the wing off. Like he jumped onto that wing, and the way that it bends, I'm going to have it fucking ripping it off. Obviously, it doesn't come off. I'm outside. There's all these little fucking gnats. I'm like, are you kidding me? This is where there's like 4 little kids walking by. And one looks at me and goes, did you make that? I was like, no, but I bought it. But I had like an hour-long conversation with Woody while doing all of these pictures. And I did everything I could to use like the light, but the angles. And this is where I think a lot of the photographers I know get really aggravated with guys like me who I don't know what the best picture is. And I'm so happy that I think 5 or 6 look really good that I'll post all of them. Where the guys who are really good, they'll only post 1, maybe 2. I think it drives Spec nuts. I think we've talked. I think it drives Spec nuts at times because he does such great photography. But I loved using the light on here. I didn't know how to use anything else. Wild Weasel, he's attacking something. You know, here the Hulk is jumping on his wing, ripping off this fucking wing, and just kind of getting all these shadows. I was really happy with how this, how I was playing with this. And again, I even got the trees in the back, so as they coming down, it was hard to not get any cars because I live in townhouses, so there's all these cars all around. It was hard to avoid getting certain angles because I don't want to get the cars in the background. It takes away from what I was trying to do. Okay, so Spec says, doesn't drive me nuts. You come up with some good stuff. Always happy to critique to help you make it better. Again, I'm not saying me. I thought we had this talk, or I thought maybe you and Matthew had this talk. But there was someone that was like, said something about like when people post like a bunch of the same pictures. I know I struggled trying to figure out, but I really enjoyed doing this. All these different angles. But to me, this is just playing, and that's it. That's all. I could have gone through a lot more pictures. Yeah, I'm not gonna make 3 hours. I go to fucking bed. It's 12:30. Work in the morning. Absolutely slammed and hammered. Spec. I should probably tell you in. I'll probably be late. I got a doctor's appointment tomorrow, so I'll probably be late for Circle the Jerk 6:30. Everyone, thank you very much for tuning in, listening to me, pat myself on the back. But no, it was just, again, one of the reasons is I do like 47 shows a year. I like to have a topic. Not every show does topics. There's a reason why not all of them go 3+ hours. And that's fine. It works for people. The 3+ thing is a Matthew thing. You blame Matthew if the 3 hours drives you nuts. But yeah, so I have to come up with topics, but I really do, I kind of knew the answer of what most people would probably think. And 69% of people of 133 votes say yes, taking pictures is playing with your toys. 16% said kinda. 5% said nope, they need to be muddy. And then 11% said no, you need to play with your actual toys. But no, it's one of those things where, again, you want people to know. And again, if you're an inbox collector, I feel like you're missing out. I feel like you're spending money and you're missing out. But there are people that buy classic cars and they never drive them. And that's something also that I'll never know. I'll never understand. I want the stuff that I buy, I want to be able to enjoy it. And Matthew says 31% are wrong. I tend to agree with you, Matthew, on that. I think there's different ways to play with your toys. I don't think hanging up inbox stuff is playing with your toys, though. I will say that. But I'm going to get out of here. Tune in tomorrow. Circle of Jerks, 6:30-ish. I will eventually be on there if I'm not there right away. 10 o'clock, Matthew and Pop Blender come on for the evening blend over on Pop Blender's channel. I'm going to get out of here, or else I'm never going to stop talking. It's been 3.5 hours. Thank you. Have a wonderful night, and I'll see you tomorrow.